Hey there, all you cool, epic, and awesome followers and listeners. Welcome back. You're now listening to episode 26 of the Cool Epic Podcast. Cool, Epic, Awesome Podcast. My name is Matt, and I am your co-host.
Your other co-host, Joe.
And today we have a returning guest, one of our biggest supporters of the podcast, and that's our friend Tom.
Yeah, what's up? Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Thanks for joining. Before we start, you want to go into some of your interests in film, just so the audience could get an idea of like what kind of...
Yeah, for sure. So I kind of like everything. I guess my favorite genre is probably comedy, which that's what I started off watching. I mean, I like everything, but I like comedy just because it's a good time.
Just because this world is so sad, you need to...
That's what...
Sometimes you need to be silly sometimes.
Nah, you guys are right. And right now I've been kind of slacking with the movies a little bit, but I'm watching Succession. It's really good. I highly recommend. And it's yeah, I mean I have some hot takes for the movies this week, and I guess we'll get into it as the podcast goes on, right?
Yeah, for sure. We'll start with I guess I'll run down some of the movies we'll talk about just at the beginning. So in theaters this week, we got to see The Flash, which I remember the first episode we did, we were talking about like how far away The Flash was, and we were like, it might never come out by the time, like we might not even have this podcast by the time it comes out.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're finally able to talk about it is like, it's kind of like full circle moment, to be honest.
Yo, one thing, I have a question. Did you guys do this every 2 weeks, like consistently?
Basically, yeah.
So, is this been a year since you guys started? Because 26?
It's coming up on it.
Damn,
dude. I think the next episode might be... Oh no, bro, it might have been a year already. We should have had a celebration.
Is it possible this is the year anniversary episode right now?
Actually, it might be, bro.
Let's go.
We'll double check that after.
What was our first movie that we did?
The Black Phone. Remember?
When did that come? I'm trying to remember when that came out.
I mean, whatever, bro. We'll figure it out after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, besides that, we also got to see Asteroid City, which is Wes Anderson's next film. Joe and I actually went to an early screening because we have like a lot of insider connections. You know, we're really big in the movie space, so we got a personal email to pull up to a theater in the city. Got to see it, like a week and a half early.
Yeah.
And I think we all have pretty mixed views on it, right?
Yeah.
Tom, I don't think you really liked it that much.
Yeah, I think you're on the high end, I'm on the low end, Joe's in like the middle
I'm
end.
in the middle, yeah.
And then at the end, we'll go into A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, which was my recommendation from 2 episodes ago, or from last episode. And it's just it's one of the classics of horror, but we'll talk about it more once we get there. I guess let's just get straight into The Flash. So I guess the question I'll pose is this, is like, after all this time and all these delays and all this advertising and all this money, was it worth it?
No, like the short answer, no. But I mean, we'll get into it, but would it have maybe 5 directors at one point attached to this movie? I remember when they first announced this movie, it was like maybe season 1 or season 2 of like the Flash TV show, like when they initially announced it. And now the show has ended. It's been 8 seasons, I think. And we're now just getting the Flash movie. I mean, granted, COVID obviously didn't help that, but I mean, still, it's kind of insane.
And Ezra Miller's tirade through Hawaii didn't help either.
The fact that this, I still can't believe the movie even got released.
I know. I can't, because it's crazy, because when it's all said and done, it's going to make less money than Black Adam, which...
Most likely, yeah.
I saw a crazy stat today.
What?
It's very likely to make less than its advertising budget. So literally, if they would have just canned it, like, it actually would have financially made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is actually insane. Bro, their advertising budget must have been huge.
I think it was over 250 mil.
Yeah, I saw, like,
the
amount of TV spots and just, like, walking around the city, you see like.
But basically, they just showed they basically used the money that they saved from not advertising Shazam, and I guarantee they're not going to advertise like Aquaman and even Blue Beetle. That comes out like in basically a month, and I barely see any stuff for it. They basically just spent their entire advertisement budget on the Flash, and now the Flash sucked. Not that it's like the box office is doing horrible. So that pretty much guarantees that I'm sure Blue Beetle and Aquaman are going to do horrible too.
Yeah. But yeah, but besides like the behind the scenes stuff, I want to go more into like that film itself. Just like if we try to separate ourselves from everything that went on. So it basically follows Barry, and it's post. I don't know. Is it the same continuity as Zack Snyder's Justice League, or
No, it's the regular like just theatrical Justice League.
oh, I see. So yeah, basically, like a short synopsis is Barry figures out that he can go back in time, so he decides to go back and save his mother. Ends up getting lost in time a bit, gets sent to the wrong time period, meets a younger version of himself, realizes he fucked things up because now there's no Superman. So when Zod pulls up to destroy them, no one can stop him. And it's sort of him coming to terms with the fact that he can't change his past, which I feel like that is it's somewhat of a powerful message beyond just like the schlock of superheroes, you know.
Absolutely.
What'd you guys think of the story overall?
I mean,
you go first, Joe.
Yeah, you can go.
All right,
I'll decide
for sure. So, I agree with your original question that it shouldn't have been released, like in hindsight, but I loved it. Like I really did. I'll die on this hill. Like I loved it. I don't think it was the best superhero movie of all time, like they advertised, which they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I thought it was super well written, and for the most part, I mean, it didn't feel like a superhero movie. It felt like like a typical movie, I guess, that had
like
superheroes in it.
Study.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like Ezra, I thought was fantastic in it.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton returning and the Sasha Calle Supergirl, I didn't necessarily like love their parts in the story because of how small they really were in hindsight. I mean, like Michael Keaton is all over the posters, all over the advertising.
Yeah.
And then,
but I mean, I feel like that's more because of what's going on with Ezra. Like if he was like there was no controversy or like and there was nothing wrong going on with him, like they probably would have just mostly used like the Flash to promote it, but because of what was going on, it kind of forced them to use Michael Keaton's Batman and the Supergirl. And it alludes to them being like the main parts of the film, but reality they're not in it as much as it seems.
Yeah, which I think is better. I'd rather a Flash movie be about the Flash than about
absolutely
like a 70-year-old Batman. You know.
Yeah.
I didn't like the ending though when it's like, oh, they have to die and like their world is doomed. I understand that it's like pushing that point of, oh, you can't save everyone and like some things like aren't meant to be changed in your past, but it just like their characters feel pointless to me at that point because like they're just dead and then their world gets reset and they just didn't even exist.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like the whole point.
That's what I liked about it because it's diverted your expectations so much. I have a question. Did you mean like I could spoil stuff, right?
Yeah.
Did you mean like the mother dying or like that whole world? Like
no,
that
like,
was
like, the world.
The world. I just mean like I thought that.
Dude, I thought that was tough, bro. I can't even lie.
Bro, I would have liked for them to survive.
Well, I mean, so originally, I mean, the world was supposed to die, but what was going to happen was that Michael Keaton was going to be the main Batman on the Earth, and then Supergirl would have been like but him going back and preventing it, like basically merges their worlds. So originally, the ending was going to be Michael Keaton's Batman and Supergirl are on the main Earth, and they were going to be part of like the new Justice League. But now that they hired James Gunn and he's resetting everything, they had to change it. So like originally, it was intended for them to return.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that context. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and what did you guys think of the cameos? I feel like that's a big thing that people are debating online. Especially the ones that the actors have died in real life.
Yeah, I honestly kind of like that original Superman they said like from 1930, like that one. Apparently that guy like ended up killing himself because of how he like after he played Superman, like he never really got in any other roles, and he ended up like committing suicide. And they basically used his image, and like he has no family, so they didn't really need permission from anybody. And what's even crazier is that like the day he killed himself was the day the Flash was released. So it's kind of like,
I mean, I hate to laugh.
yeah,
It's just like, how can you not have like the foresight to see that?
yeah, and not even. And what's funnier is like, no one even knew who in the theater was gonna know that Superman. No,
I mean,
it's
the
from the
Christopher
30s.
Reeves one.
No, that one, yeah, yeah. That's that's a little different. I'm talking about that main one from like the 1930s. Like, what was the actual point of putting that in?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I mean, the fact that they didn't include a cameo from like Grant Gustin, the Flash from the TV show, that's like the obvious one to include.
Yeah.
But people were also complaining about the CGI on the cameos and the CGI in general of the movie. That's like a huge complaint. I think that's part of the reason why the box office is doing bad, because like bad word of mouth. Which we'll talk about the box office.
I think so like into like with the time travel CGI, like that I understand. It's supposed to be like a creative choice, but the final battle and the cameos, like there's no excuse for that.
Yeah, I thought it was weird how they like set the final battle in this just blank, empty, like
canvas.
Yeah, it was just like weird looking to me. It looked like fake. It like looked like they just put them in a sandbox in a computer.
I mean that scene is like that's from Man of Steel. That scene, like where they're in like a desert.
I've never seen Man of Steel, so I don't know.
You never saw Man of Steel?
No.
What? Really?
You have time right now.
I have. I don't remember that because I don't like remember the movie. I just remember not liking Man of Steel. But
I'm surprised that you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't seen it either. But I don't really remember that part too much. But that kind of makes more sense that it was like in Man of Steel though.
There's like a scene where they like the aliens, like the Kryptonians, like pull up, and like and they're like they basically ask the U.S. government like, where's Superman? They're on like an army base, but they don't they don't like blow up the army base. They just kind of like meet and they just basically tell them like, bring us Superman, we're gonna kill you all.
That's sick though. That's universe's version of that battle. I didn't know that. I could tell. I call myself a casual. Like I could tell there's a lot of stuff that went over my head, like in terms of references and like continuities and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, but the movie still works even if you're a casual fan. Like
exactly.
Like you didn't need that to understand the context of the scene. It's just like, oh, like for someone, like I feel like I'm more of like a hardcore fan. So like I recognize that like pretty like I was like, oh, this is the scene from Man of Steel, but it wasn't needed for the for it to work.
I actually think that me being a casual like maybe made me like it more. Like Matt brought something to my attention that one of like the storylines in it was just straight up from the TV show.
Yeah.
Or like it was at least very similar. And like I thought like the storyline was like kind of brilliant, but like the fact that it was done before, and you said it was done better, right? I didn't mean to steer you talking.
No, you're fine. But yeah, I was gonna wait for you to finish. Now I was gonna try to explain to Joe what I was talking about. But go ahead though, yeah.
But the fact that it was done better on the TV show would have like gave me a more negative connotation than like I had with it if I was ignorant towards it.
Yeah.
No, and I agree. Like I think this is catered towards like a more casual audience. Like it is way more accessible than a lot of like the superhero stuff. Like me and Joe and I like know a lot about like the comic books and like other source material and shit. So this story is basically like a take on a story from the comics called Flashpoint, where Barry goes back in time, saves his mom, and it leads to like a whole different like world. Except like the story is just 10 times better like in the comics. And there's an animated movie of the story. Like in that universe there's like way more interesting shit, like for example, him saving his mom, and like Batman's backstory, how his parents get killed in front of him.
Yeah.
So in the new universe, on that same day, Bruce Wayne is the one that gets killed, and his dad becomes Batman, and his mom becomes the Joker.
No way.
And it's just like weird
his mom
shit like
goes
that.
insane from like watching Bruce die.
That's tough.
And then like there's like other stuff too.
Yeah, there's other stuff. Like there's a war between
the Amazons and Atlanteans.
Yeah, like Aquaman and Wonder Woman are at war with each other. There's just like all these like really cool ideas that they developed in that story, and they kind of just didn't do it justice.
Yeah, there's like nods to so like the Supergirl stuff. Like you know how they find her in like that prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that. So in the comic book, it's Superman in the comic book, but it's like straight out the same thing. Like he's in I think it's like a U.S. government facility, but he's being kept underground. Like he's really skinny, so it's like just like that.
Yeah, but
Word.
I feel like if they were gonna use this, first of all, it's a very early to use this story. I get that it doesn't matter because like they're not gonna continue with these characters anyway. But like the Flashpoint story should be more of like an event, like a Justice League
No, I
movie, not
agree. Yeah.
like a Flash solo movie
Well,
should
like a
be.
true adaptation of Flashpoint, because this really, I mean, it had elements of Flashpoint, but it's very, very. I feel like it's pretty different from the comics. Like the villain's different.
Does the mom wind up dying like in Flashpoint also?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's still like the same message at the
same.
end of
Yeah,
the
it's essentially you can't change the past.
The smaller details obviously are different. Even in this movie, like Bruce kind of like was against it. Like he didn't.
Yeah.
He was like, "Nah, like we're not doing this."
Yeah,
And yeah, one of the most famous scenes in the Flashpoint story is
it's like
so
the end
once
scene.
once Barry like realizes, okay, I have to like let my mother die. In this universe where like Bruce's dad survives, he makes his dad like write a letter and he brings it back to Bruce to like give it to him in the main universe. It's like a really like poignant,
Emotional.
just
Yeah,
emotional scene.
Damn.
And there was like, I mean, there was something kind of like that in this where like he has to look at his mother for the last time and like not like know that she has to die.
Yeah, F
Yeah.
me up, bro.
That had me sad. That was
Yeah.
that had me thinking about past lives a little bit.
That was a product of Ezra's acting chops, honestly.
Yeah, he was amazing.
He's
Yeah.
insane.
He's a great actor. Or
Yeah,
I'm
his
sorry,
talent was never in question.
I meant to say they. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but what's it called? Like, it's a shame that there's all this controversy because like there really is so much talent there, and it's just all
Yeah.
probably gonna go to waste unless, especially if like they don't continue with his Flash, which it doesn't look like they're going to, because of how terrible it's doing.
Oh, 100 yeah, no way.
Like they're not gonna get any other acting roles, most likely.
Yeah. Did either of you guys
Well,
see
wait, what else was he in?
Fantastic Beasts,
Yeah, I was gonna say, how was he in that?
good, pretty good. I don't know. I mean, I don't really remember those movies too much. I watched the first and second. I never got around to the third. But I always liked Ezra as an actor. I mean,
Perks of Being a Wallflower?
Oh, yeah.
He was fantastic
that was
in.
a great one.
Did you guys see We Need to Talk About Kevin?
Yeah.
How good?
I didn't really like that one.
Really? I didn't see it.
It's just basically about Ezra plays this boy that doesn't really get along with his parents, and he's kind of like going insane and shit, and something crazy happens at the end that I won't spoil, but
Okay.
it's him just basically playing like a lunatic kind of.
Probably good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he took method acting to the next level. Bro, the amount of shit that they did is actually insane. Like if you go back on the timeline and the fact that they're still able to like have this film released. I'm pretty sure he like took a chair and launched it at a lady and like cut her face in a bar or something.
Oh,
He like chokeslammed the girl.
yeah. There's a video of the choke slam of the girl.
Kidnapped the
Yeah.
family.
Didn't he start like a cult in like fucking Sweden or something?
I don't know. It's possible. And then they want to like cancel Chris Pratt because he's like Catholic.
Dude, they has like 5 stars right now, bro.
What?
Ezra on like the GTA scale. And that just shows how much money does talk, though. I mean, the second money comes into question, they're willing to throw out. I don't think this is really controversial, but they're willing to throw out a lot of their principles.
Yeah, definitely.
And support.
Yeah, bro, that's
a lunatic.
We've seen it in the past, bro. But I feel like there's like certain things you can't do. Like if it was something with like aggravated assault, they think is fine. But if it was like sexual assault, he obviously would have been like,
yeah.
When in reality, they should not have been given enough as much chances as they have.
Look what's going on with Jonathan Majors now.
Yeah, And also the guy who plays Namor in Black Panther, he just got accused of sexual assault too.
He just dropped out of a Netflix movie actually.
Oh God.
No way.
So that's not a good sign.
Yeah. But no, yeah. Let's get back to the movie a little bit. I wanted to ask you guys if you had like a favorite character in the movie. If Joey, you want to go first?
I mean, it's generic to say the Flash, but he really is the best character in the movie.
Which Flash?
But
Yeah,
like
which Flash?
The main.
Word. I agree.
Yeah.
Did you guys like the villain at all or no?
Not really.
Not Zod, but like
the Dark Flash.
Yeah.
That was all right.
Honestly, I
see
would have preferred if they kept it with no villain. I just thought, I don't know, like it just made it like Zod.
Yeah, but I guess I see what they were going. But also, yeah, I was gonna say my favorite character is also Barry as the Flash.
Yeah.
I just thought the performance was just so great.
Yeah.
I did like Supergirl a bit, and like Michael Keaton's always, he's great to see. You could just tell he just doesn't give a fuck, and he's just like having fun. But I get what they were going for with the villain, but I just didn't think it really worked, to be honest.
I like the mom a lot. I mean, she wasn't in that many scenes, and I don't even think she was that well written. She's just such a likable character, though, that it added extra stakes. Like I don't want to see her die, you know.
Yeah.
Not that I'd want to see like any mother die, but like she did her thing. That's just a very small role.
Yeah. Your favorite
yeah.
scene, man?
Favorite scene. Oh God, let me think. I would probably say my favorite scene was when they're going to like try to save Supergirl, and it's just Michael Keaton's Batman just like violating all those guards and like fucking all them up.
Yeah.
I thought like his fight scenes were done very well. Also, I forgot in that scene there's like a whole twist of the movie, which is that the original Barry like loses his powers. I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either.
Even though that is actually part of the original Flashpoint storyline, but there's not like a second Barry. So I didn't think they were going to do that.
Yeah, and the way they advertised the movie, I just assumed they had this powers at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, what about you guys' favorite scenes in there? Joe?
Honestly, like, I really like the opening sequence.
Oh, where it's like the whole Justice League.
Yeah, I thought, like, the way the Flash's powers were used were, like, very creative. I don't know.
Alright.
And I guess for me, I'm gonna go with the generic scene. I'm gonna go with the scene where he has to like he hugs his mom for the last time. That scene like hit for me. Like I thought it's pretty generic because I mean it was an emotional scene, but I think it worked and it did. It got the message across and it did exactly what it had to do. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna choose.
Yeah, that was a very emotional scene. I can't lie.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know. Let me think if there's anything else we could talk about for the film. Is there any other thoughts you guys want to get out?
What did the percentage that it dropped? It dropped like 72% or something, right?
Oh yeah, that's the biggest thing we forgot to talk about, the box office. So for opening weekend, it made like 55 million domestic, which it was expected to make like 70, and even 70 is like low.
Yeah.
So it made 55 mil off, what is it, a 300 million budget, or like it's either a 250 or 300 million budget plus the 250 million advertising.
Yeah.
And it's projected to make, based on those numbers, and also the second weekend it dropped like 75%, which is the highest of any superhero film ever.
I think
It's kind of crazy.
one beat it out, dude.
What?
Yes.
Morbius?
Yes. Morbius beat it out for like a slightly worse drop, but
Yeah, bro, the thing is, like, this is way better of a film than Morbius.
It's almost worse that it's like in competition with Morbius because it's just such a. This movie was a lot better than Morbius,
definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's gonna make what, like, it's projected to make like 250 to 310 million or something.
I think it just passed 200 million like yesterday,
which would make it the loss. It would lose Warner Brothers like 300 million, which is insane, and they're going broke now. don't know if you saw like the shit that
Yeah,
they've been doing.
they sold like $500 million worth of their assets.
Yeah, they first of all they're selling some of their original shows, original HBO shows are getting sold to Netflix.
Yeah,
Not like Game of Thrones or anything like that, but some of I forget there was like a list of a couple, nothing big. But that's kind of unheard of for companies to do shit like that, especially one as big as Warner Brothers. And besides that, like you said, they're selling like a huge catalog of their original music, including scores from the Batman films and things like that for like 500 mil, just because they have no money.
yeah.
I think the company was evaluated at being worth like 70 billion in 2016, and now they're worth like 30.
Wow, that's actually nuts.
Bro,
I didn't realize they lost so much money.
what's gonna happen? It's gonna be a crazy day on Twitter when like Disney buys Warner Brothers.
Disney's not even
Possible.
doing that hot either.
Yeah, but they're not doing as bad as this, bro. All their movies, at least the Marvel ones, made back at least their budgets. I don't think any of them lost money. Even the ones that got like bad reviews, like Thor 4, made like what 750 million or something.
Yeah.
Thor made a lot. You know what movie didn't? You know what movie did horrible?
What?
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah,
But-
that was the one.
Guardians made
Yeah,
their budget more.
Yeah, that's why I feel like people talk about like superhero fatigue, but Spider-Verse and Guardians both were like fantastic movies, not even just superhero movies. And Guardians made almost 900 million, and what is Spider-Verse at? Oh, 500 million, 600 million now.
Yeah, which is crazy for like an animated.
An animated movie, yeah.
Well, not an animated film, but like an animated film that's not catered towards children. I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've seen like obviously like the Minions movie makes like $1 billion and shit.
Mario made $1 billion.
Yeah, but this is like a young adult animated film, and
Yeah.
the fact that it's doing that well.
Yeah, I agree with you, Joe. I don't think superhero fatigue is a thing. I just think it's mediocre movie fatigue, you know?
Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
why
'cause
wait.
No, go ahead.
That's why like people are like saying like, oh, like with the new because going forward with the new DC properties, like with James Gunn, like they're like, oh, like they don't think it's gonna do good. But like Superman is like probably the most recognizable character in all of media in the world. And I mean James Gunn just showed with Guardians, he made $900 million with that. So I'm sure it's gonna make money.
Well, I feel like there's a loss of faith in the DC brand among like the casual moviegoer.
Yeah.
Dude, because even this movie, they're advertising like there's the Flash, like there's two different like Batman, and Batman is another one of like the most recognizable heroes.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't know if it's just people don't care because they know it's like not a shared universe. Because that too, like, cause I know a lot of people, even some of my friends, that like didn't see it because it's like, oh, like, aren't they redoing everything? So like, what's the point of seeing it? Which honestly, like, kind of sucks because, like, I had that mindset going into like a movie that I'm only gonna see it because it sets up something else is really dumb, and I kind of hate that everything's like that because of Marvel now, but. Like, I mean, that's why some people aren't seeing it. I mean, the whole Ezra thing also isn't helping.
Yeah, that was like a perfect storm.
Perfect storm, yeah.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
This is kind of like a deep question. So like it's not
All
gonna
right, I'm ready.
But like how do you salvage this if like for the DC properties? Because I mean they've objectively or not objectively, but they made like I think the Batman was great with Pattinson. I thought Joker was great.
Yeah.
Like what could they do more that like they're releasing good movies. What could they do to like make the faith back?
They got to take a break. So I know Aquaman is gonna be like the last like DCU movie released, and then they're gonna like 2024. There's no movies like coming out. I think it's only like Joker 2, which is like not connected to anything, and like the Penguin show, and there's no other. And then like that animated show that James Gunn's doing. But other than that, there's no DC movies coming out that year, so it's gonna be like a little break. And then the first movie that they're gonna do like in this connected universe is Superman. So I feel like they give the audience like a nice break from these type of movies. I mean, they'll have the Joker, which I'm sure will be great, the Batman Part 2, which will be great too, and then this Superman movie. So I'm hoping that like I guess those three movies will all be good, hopefully, and it'll start to get people to trust the brand a little more. But
Yeah, I think there's like two ways you could really approach it, which we already know which one they chose, but like think about the shit for them that has worked the best. The Batman, like you said, and Joker, and those
yeah,
are two self-contained, well-written, like just movies that don't have to worry about the baggage of setting
yeah,
anything up or connecting to other films or anything like that. Those are their two probably most successful films in recent memory. So they could do shit like that. Just do standalone projects, get talented filmmakers to come in and just have these good stories using these characters and don't make them connect.
yeah,
But it's not going to make as much money as, the big Justice League ensemble team up
yeah.
after doing, smaller films like that. That's what they're going to do. James Gunn already outlined a slate of film and TV that he's going to be doing. I still think that could work, but there are some issues with it. I think they should, first of all, like James Gunn should not bring over any of his characters because James Gunn has like his own shit. Like how he directed the Suicide Squad, so
Yeah.
he's probably gonna like reset everything besides his characters, which is kind of like there's still that little attachment to this
So
old universe. I think he should just fully restart. Like get rid of
so
John Cena as Peacemaker. Just
so
get
I
rid of the
don't
Suicide Squad. Go ahead.
so I don't know. Have you ever read Crisis on Infinite Earths?
No, but I know the story. I never read the book.
So one thing, there's a theory going around about Peacemaker. Um, so in that story, there's this character called Psycho Pirate, and he's like a very low tier character, and essentially he's the only person that remembers the previous universe. But he's like, so I think that they're gonna take Psycho Pirate and kind of replace it with Peacemaker, and kind of make a comedic, like he's gonna talk about how they used to be like all these people, and people are just gonna think he's like crazy because he's that his character's supposed to be he's an idiot.
I could see it. I mean,
I don't like,
I still think they just need a fresh slate. Like make sure people know it's just fully new.
but most of the general audience doesn't even know who Peacemaker is.
EOT.
I know who Peacemaker is just because I actually really liked. I don't know if it's the second Suicide Squad, like the one with the villains. But
Like, do you know that he has a TV show?
I know that he has a TV show. I haven't watched it, and I could assume that most people who are casuals haven't watched it.
Yeah, even I haven't watched it.
Yeah. It is very good though.
What I think they have to do is if they're gonna go the route, I think they got the perfect guy, James Gunn, to do it. If because they're dying to do this universe thing. They're dying to make it work. But if they're gonna do it, they have to. The movies aren't. I don't think there's. I mean, maybe Superman will do all right, but they need to make an amazing movie, and they need a fucking star in it. Like there's not many movie stars, but like
Tom Cruise.
They need Tom Cruise or they need Leo to play like a villain. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, and the movie has to be amazing.
Leo would never. Tom Cruise.
I know.
Tom Cruise actually, there's like a decent chance he ends up in one of the properties.
Yeah, I
Leo
agree.
doing it. I mean, you never know. Christian Bale was Batman, so
True.
But that was also because Christopher Nolan was directing it.
Yeah. You give Leo a blank check, you're like, you get stake in Warner Brothers. But I mean,
I feel like the directors so far announced are all pretty talented, which is nice to know, at least.
Yeah.
And like, and they know like Swamp Thing, which I didn't even. I mean, I knew about the character, but I recently like started reading more about him just because the movie's coming out. And he's a really, really cool character. Like a lot, it's very like body horror heavy, and like a lot, and there's a lot of deeper meanings about like just protecting the Earth and all this other stuff. But James Mangold is already attached, and he even said like this is a one-time story. Like I'm only doing it's like this one story with the character. It's a self-contained thing. I mean, granted, it's gonna be. I'm sure he'll appear in other things in the future, but like. I feel like it's good that he's saying stuff like that they're not just like shoving this story out like for the sake of just doing it. I feel like it's something that there's a plan at least for it.
Yeah, at least they have something mapped out, but only time will tell.
Yeah,
we'll see. Yeah, I guess let's keep things moving here. I think we can give our ratings for The Flash. I could start. At first, when I walked out of the theater, I gave it a 4-star, but the more I thought about it, the less I liked it. I changed my rating to a 3.5 star, 7 out of 10. I just feel like there was so many missed opportunities with the story, and I think it was a curse, kind of knowing what could have been, So, how about you guys?
I agree. I give it the same 3.5. Same thing. I walked out. It was a 4, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, all right, it's probably a 3.5. It's a good movie. Like I still enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun, but it's definitely no like masterpiece that they were making it out to be.
I gave it a 4.5. It's pretty high. I don't really give that many movies a 4.5, especially superhero movies. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I felt a bunch of different emotions watching it, and it really did work for me. I really do think that them advertising it and them like having like the fake leaks or like Tom Cruise thought it was the best movie like ever and all that stupid
like that, yeah.
That was just a hindrance to it, and it's kind of a case study that you can't advertise a movie as or I thought it was great, but you can't if you advertise a movie as amazing, like it has to be like Godfather tier for people to agree.
Yeah, because even if it's like a little worse than that, people are gonna just shit on it that much more.
That's what I really think this was. But
so yeah, I'm interested to see what they end up doing, but I think they should just shelve Aquaman. There's no way that's gonna make money. Like,
the first one did so good though. I don't think it's gonna make money either.
No, I heard it's like really bad too. People saying it's supposed to be horrible.
I heard that also. The test screenings were really. They like had to like refilm. I don't know. I heard really bad things.
Yeah.
I hope the only one I want to do well is Blue Beetle. That's the only one I have like.
Dude, that's not gonna make money either, bro. If no one's going out to see Batman, The Flash, and Supergirl, who the fuck is going to see Blue Beetle? No one's gonna give a fuck.
I mean, if the movie's good, I think people will see it.
But The Flash was good.
Yeah, but also The Flash, the main star is a criminal.
That's true, but I mean,
there's a lot of other stuff going against The Flash.
We'll see. I mean, even if
I know,
Flash,
I don't like all it has to do is do like what The Flash is doing now.
Yeah,
which is not. It's not like it's. I mean, like the budget's also way smaller, and they're not really. It's not gonna have a huge marketing budget like The Flash did.
So all it has to do is not have the worst second weekend drop in the history of superhero movies, and it should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go from a superhero film to the complete opposite, a piece of art type of film. Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. I'm interested to talk about this with you, Joe, because this was your first ever Wes Anderson film, right?
Yeah.
So, what are your initial thoughts about his style?
I mean, visually, I really like his style, but like dialogue, it's fun at points, but it gets like very like I don't know. I found it annoying at certain moments, especially when like the screen we went to. You could tell it's a bunch of Wes Anderson fans. And they literally would laugh at like every shit that was not even remotely funny. They would laugh at.
Yeah, yeah. Since we went to an early screening, there's all like the Wes Anderson creatures.
I can only imagine, dude.
It's just one guy in front of us.
No,
he was like, he was like howling, laughing at every single joke.
Yeah, bro. Nah, there was some like what happened. It was actually like the scene was so like it was not even. I don't even think it was supposed to be a funny scene, and he just started fucking crying. I don't even know what it was.
No, I think it was the part in the beginning where. There was like that highway entrance that like went up and it like panned over to and it said like highway like incomplete or something or like do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
And he just started like howling. like it wasn't even that funny. But
yeah, I just like I don't understand.
Like it's kind of weird that you don't like it, or not that you don't like it, but I feel like this is one of Wes Anderson's more like accessible films. I don't know if you agree or not. It's definitely a weirder movie. Of his, like that, the things that they delve into, especially with the alien and shit.
Yeah.
But I feel like he fleshed out his characters in this more than he does in his other films. At least that's how I felt. Tom, what do you think about that?
Dude, I'm gonna take the complete opposite approach.
Really?
I didn't like any of his characters, and I feel like the thing that I feel like with all of Wes Anderson's movies, honestly, every single movie I've seen besides It's that one. Rushmore. I didn't like Rushmore either.
I liked Rushmore.
Everybody likes it besides me. I don't know what it is. But I feel like they're all like pretty objectively good. Even I saw Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I thought it was like objectively good.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a fan, but like I'm like, all right, this is a good movie. I just don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, I think honestly, kind of nothing happens.
Yeah.
In a way, like nothing. It's just that's kind of what it is. Usually, it plays in general. Not too much happens because it's kind of harder to do stuff on on a stage.
Yeah.
And so this was kind of made as a play. Like obviously, there's another aspect to it, but so I thought this relied on a lot of like more writing than like other Wes Anderson movies relied on, and I really just thought it fell flat. But I mean, I'm in the minority here. This is by far the lowest rating I've given Asteroid City. I didn't care for the characters. I thought one of them was decently written. Schwartzman. And then besides that, I actually fucking hated it, dude. I can't even lie, man.
I liked his son too. I thought that whole dynamic with like those group of kids.
I hated his son, dude. I want to like. He just reminds me of like every like. I can't do it. He's like such a nerd, bro.
Yeah, he has the Brainiac to stitched into his thing.
I hate that, bro.
I don't know. I see where you're coming from here. Like I get it because like the whole I understand it's good but I don't like it. That's like how I used to be on Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Like especially when I first got into him, I was like watching a Wes Anderson film to me is like if I went to like an art museum.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like I'm looking at the art and I'm like, all right, yeah, like this shit's it's cool. It's obviously like it took talent to make it. There's like artistic vision behind it, but like,
dude, I agree.
I don't want to like I'm not gonna get excited being in an art museum.
I couldn't agree more. But this movie for me, like, I didn't think this was objectively good like the others. I thought this was like not good. I didn't think this was like an art museum. Like, I'm trying to think of like a funny metaphor of like what I thought it was. But
I mean, I thought it was like I agree. It was kind of like visually, it was very impressive. Like I liked a lot of the shots and like the color grading and everything. But I don't know, like the way the dialogue is sometimes just like too much.
Dude, it was. I agree with you.
It's like dry humor.
Which is fine. Like once, like but like some like I just felt like it was just like to a point. I was like, all right, like I get it. Like
yeah,
I forgot. There's like a serious moment in the movie. Like I think they're talking about like how the guy's wife died or something, and
they're like burying the ashes or something, right?
Yeah, and like something really stupid happens, and I was like, "Oh, what?"
Dude, and that's I agree with you, Joe. I think the thing is, this movie, like this is more. I mean, I could be wrong here, but I feel like this just had jokes on jokes on jokes, and I don't think I like thought a singular like moment was funny. So like it's just like. So if you don't think a moment's funny and they just keep going at them and they keep digging the hole deeper, you're like, dude, like, shut the fuck up. Like,
exactly. I get it. Like, for me, it wasn't like not. I thought some of the scenes were funny.
Yeah.
But like when the scenes that I didn't like, the jokes that didn't land for me, like I felt annoying because the scene kept going on, and I was like, all right, like, let me move on from this.
I agree with you.
Yeah. I've had like a weird turnaround on Wes because I used to hate him. Same. I was like, bro, like, fuck off with this.
He joined the dark side.
But then, like, the more of his filmography that I watched, I think the only ones I haven't seen is Life Aquatic and Bottle Rocket, which is like his first movie. I've seen all of his other films, and like the more I watched, the more I like started to appreciate him. Especially, I watched like Royal Tenenbaums recently.
I like that one.
And Grand Budapest.
Like that one.
And I just like started to get it. Like I don't but like obviously it worked for some people and it doesn't work for others. Like there's no the reason why I was saying I think this is most accessible film. Another reason why is because it also made the most out of any of his films for an opening weekend, which is crazy, especially in like the rush of the amount of movies that are out right now.
That's a good point.
Like The Flash is out, there's a Transformers movie out, there's a Pixar movie out, and it still had its like the highest opening weekend of any of his films. So I feel like it is clicking with the general audience a little bit more than most of his stuff. And one problem that I did have with his other films would be like these ensemble casts. At a point, like it just because like there's every single actor is like a big name. There's no like non-big name actors. Like it started to feel like an SNL skit at some points where I'm just like I can't like take this seriously at all. But for some reason I just didn't feel that when I watched this. It felt more like traditional film to me at least.
Do you think it's his best film?
I think it's up there with his best. His best is probably Grand Budapest, I would say.
I agree.
But yeah, I think it's definitely up there. As far as like in my ratings, this is, I think I gave this spoiler, but I gave this a 4.5 stars. And I only gave like 2 of his other films that.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, because I just don't think it clicked with me, because like all the reviews I've seen, like they've all been pretty like, either they've been catering around really like pretty good to pretty great. Like everybody has good things to say.
Yeah, but I mean, not every film is for everyone. Like
that's what I'm saying.
There's nothing like wrong with thinking that it's shit.
Yeah, the thing is, I thought you didn't feel like this. I thought this felt like an ensemble cast too much. Still. And I'm like, I want to see Wes Anderson in another situation where he could really build up like a character without like 10 other characters like jumping in and
and having the star appeal of it, you know.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, yeah, that was actually one of my main complaints actually. But I really didn't think the characters were that fleshed out.
I don't know why.
They were decent, but
I feel like the two, like Scarlett Johansson and Schwartzman's characters, I feel like those were both kind of fleshed out, and also
I like Schwartzman's character.
The kids, I thought they did well with that, but
I didn't like the kids either, dude. There was just a bunch of. I thought the kids were so annoying. Dude, I swear, I can't even.
You can't get the words.
I really can't, dude. And I've been thinking about it, like in preparation. I've been like, how do I explain this? But you know, like the best way I could put it for me is like, I'm not even like this normally, but like, you know, like when like somebody like just doesn't like, somebody says the same thing and they just don't stop saying it.
Yeah.
Like a person, you're like, please stop.
Like I got a drinking problem.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, it's like, come on. But I like even that. That's the funniest thing I ever heard. But yeah, I really didn't like it.
Yeah. Wait. What about? So did you have? Can you choose a favorite character?
Can I choose Schwartzman's?
Okay. Yeah.
It's pretty basic again.
No, I agree.
I like Scarlett Johansson's character the most, I think, but also I just love her. She's like one of my favorite actresses. Yeah, I thought like all the performances weren't bad. Like they bought into what they were doing. I think mostly everyone. A couple like other roles that I liked in it, because there's only really like those two main is like Schwartzman's, Johansson. The rest are kind of like side characters. I liked Bryan Cranston's part a lot.
Yeah,
and
the host.
Yeah, that whole like aspect of it was a complete surprise to me. Like I didn't realize they were gonna go that whole route where it's like going through a play. So there's that separate story. But honestly, like I didn't even give a fuck about that aspect of it.
Another thing is, I thought like in theory, like if you like hear like the plot synopsis, like the whole thing, like you're gonna be like, oh, that probably is pretty good.
Yeah.
But then like it just didn't work for me. Like I thought that was creative also, like making the documentary / play and having them kind of connect at certain aspects. And then because the French Dispatch did something not similar, but they also used like newspapers.
I forgot to mention that was another one I didn't see.
It kind of does something.
Isn't that like 3 separate stories?
Yeah, 3 separate stories in a newspaper. Then it connects to like a big story of like the newspaper, like
yeah.
I'm not gonna like spoil anything, but
yeah, I like Steve Carell. I thought his character was funny. Margot Robbie's in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually really like Margot. That was like my favorite scene in the movie.
That little her like little piece of dialogue.
Yeah, when they're on the 2 balconies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good scene. For a favorite scene though, I definitely liked the alien scene, like when it first came down.
Oh yeah.
It was just like so weird. I just was not expecting it at all. And I kind of liked how the alien was made with claymation, because Wes has done like claymation films before, like Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs, which were both great, I think. But yeah, I thought that scene kind of like set the tone of the film a little bit, where I was like, oh, they are going like this outlandish route, you know? So Tom, what was your favorite scene when it ended?
I agree with you.
Oh.
I agree with everything you said. I like the use of stop motion. I thought that was cool. I didn't think there was actually going to happen. I thought it was just like before that happened, I didn't think there was actually going to be like an alien like pop out and stuff.
Yeah.
And like it was going to just like randomly just like I forgot what it took, but
it took like the asteroid.
Yeah. And like I thought that part was like cool and that subverted my expectations, but I mean that's like probably one of the only scenes I enjoyed.
I actually like the design of
And-
the alien.
And the
So do I.
the Scarlett Johansson nude scene also was.
Yeah, that was hidden, bro. Split second.
Yeah, I had to take the
Wait, she
camcorder.
didn't
out for that.
When?
Yeah, no, it's like remember when her and Schwartzman's character like talking through the window and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna read the scene to you. It's a nude scene. Do you want to see it?" And he was like, "Yeah." Or no, he was like,
Yeah.
"Did I say yes?" Or like some shit.
Yeah.
They used that in the trailer like 5 times. Like when she takes her like robe off, there's like a reflection of her like full frontal in the mirror.
Oh.
It's like a second, but it's funny because like Wes it came out that like Wes Anderson, like Scarlett Johansson had to direct herself in that scene because Wes was too embarrassed to do. He's definitely a virgin, dude. There's no way.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
If you're gonna make some content like this, like that story's just so funny though.
Yeah.
Like how is he too embarrassed? Like you're literally a director.
Yeah, he got shy, bro.
I think he's directed actors in the nude before, I think, right? Doesn't French Dispatch have a lot of
Yeah,
in
it does. But as like a nude paint, I mean that's the same. Dude, Leia Sito or whatever her
Yeah.
name is. She was like a nude artist, and
Oh.
like somebody was like painting. No, not a nude. She was like the nude
Yeah,
like
like
person
the
that gets
model, yeah.
painted. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
bro.
That just kind of like shows the type of like person that Wes Anderson
Yeah.
is.
Honestly, you just described like his movies pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you just want to talk about your ratings, unless there's any more thoughts about the movie that you have.
I mean, you want to give your rating for us?
Well, I said it
Please.
before, but yeah, I gave it a 4.5 stars, so a 9 out of 10. It just, I don't know, I can't really describe like in detail exactly why I enjoyed it, but for some reason, like I just walked out and I was like, I really like that. Like that was good. That was a great movie. It was well made. One thing I forgot to mention this before, but just like the way that Wes Anderson like frames his shots is just like insane. Like no one does it like he does. So that was another thing that was at play here, that it's just like so meticulous. But yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I feel like it's one of his best films that he's done. So yeah. Joe, since you're in the middle of the rating, you could go second.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.5, 7 out of 10. I still enjoyed it, but some of the dialogue was a little like too much for me.
And then I gave it a 2.5. I apologize for like not being able to kind of explain some parts. Like I'm kind of like you in the opposite. Like I kind of can't explain why I hate it in some ways. But I mean, I gave it a 2.5, 5 out of 10. Yeah, it just didn't click for me. But I will say something that you said. He never phones it in. I'll give him credit for that. You know, like every single shot he cares about. And I like the coloring. The coloring was fantastic on this.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like a 2.5, considering how much you hated it, is pretty generous.
Dude, I'm a generous grader, dude. Like I've probably seen like 850 movies now, and I have like 5 that are like below a 2.5.
Yeah.
Like, but I have like a lot that are at 2.5.
Yeah.
Like, I just like movies too much to give something less, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do have a lot of I have a couple like 1 stars in there.
Do you have any 0.5s?
Yeah,
No.
I have like 2 or 3.
No
0.5s.
way. What about you, Joe?
I think I have a point. Let me go look, actually. I have like
Yeah,
1 or 2, maybe.
But there's like movies that like are just like I've seen that I know are just like offensive, have no budget, and are just complete shit. It's usually like horror
Yeah.
movies.
You be seeing some out there shit, dude.
Yeah,
Especially like the 4s and the 5s of these films. Like,
I know. But that's one thing like about my taste in film is like I want to just watch like as much as I can, whatever I can. Like I'm not picky.
Sick.
I'm like I want to
Yeah.
just try to watch like whatever. All right, let me see my lowest rated. Oh, Marmaduke.
Yeah,
Remember
there's my lowest
Marmaduke?
rated too, man.
Oh my god, bro. That was like an animated movie that came out on Netflix last year where like not that one. It's like an animated one. Where like Pete Davidson voices Marmaduke.
oh my
And
god.
the style
The
of
animation style is so ugly.
that, it's actually insane. So bad.
You guys both gave this a 0.5.
Dude, I actually have a 1 star from this year.
What?
What?
The Winnie the Pooh
I
horror movie.
heard it was
It's
bad.
complete shit. Yeah, I only have 3. I only have 2 half stars. That Marmaduke and then Ginger Dead Man 3. You could just tell from the title that.
Three? Did you see the first two?
Yeah.
They were better?
Yeah.
Marginally?
Not by much. Yeah, I got a couple ones in there.
I'm dead. You guys vibe. I'm looking at the Marmaduke reviews that both you guys gave. They're hilarious.
The Cobbler, that was a 1-star for me. Sandler one.
Let me see my worst.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip, that's a 1-star.
The Road Chip?
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, dude, that movie was... You know that movie Boogie with Pop Smoke?
Yeah.
That's a 1-star, bro.
I didn't see
I
it.
hated that
Really?
shit.
Really?
Yeah. But anyways, now we're getting off topic, but also kind of not really, because we're gonna talk about our...
Oh, shit, you're right.
Since we're about halfway through the year right now, it's the end of June, so we're gonna go through our top 10 films of the year so far. And there hasn't been there've been a couple really good films, but nothing too crazy, just because it's not really into award season yet. Like a lot of the more experimental and awards baity shit hasn't really come out yet. But I guess we could we'll take turns and we'll start at 10, give our 10,
Yeah.
give our 9, shit, like how we did that last episode. I guess Joe, you want to start it off? What was your 10th favorite this year?
10 I have Creed 3.
Okay. See?
My fault. I'm just counting.
No,
1,
you're good.
2, 3, 4, 6. I can't tell if it's either Blackberry or Evil Dead Rise. I liked both of them. Blackberry, interesting movie. I think it kind of fell off a little bit in the third act, but very, very well made and cool concept. And Evil Dead Rise, honestly, in hindsight, I think I would like it more. I think it should be higher than 10.
No, Evil Dead Rise is my 11, so it's just on the
Let's go.
outskirts. But yeah, my 10th favorite it was a surprise for me that it's this high, but the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Where
I actually loved it. We talked about it on a previous episode, but have you seen that one, Tom?
I really liked it. It was my 13, but I really liked it. I could see an argument for being top 5 even.
Mm-hmm. Joe?
Wait, did I even... I'm trying to... Oh, I don't think I put my Dungeons and Dragons on this list. I don't know why. Oh, no, I did. I'm an idiot. 9, I had the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Okay.
Which I enjoyed.
That's not a bad one. No, just for context, though, I want to just say that I've seen 43 films that were released this year. So, if there's something that's good, but it's not in my top 10, I've seen a lot. So...
Yeah, I have 26. I've only seen 26 movies from this year.
I think I've seen about 26 also. I'm trying to get 27. So yeah, me and Joe basically start the same.
Yeah, I try to keep in the loop with the shit that goes to streaming as well, and just
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But yeah, T, what was your 9th favorite, bro?
My 9th was the guy Ritchie, not the military one, the Covenant. It was Operation Fortune, Ruse de Gore. I don't know.
Oh,
I
the
loved
one,
it.
yeah.
Dude, it has a 2.8 rating on Letterboxd, which I'm actually shocked at seeing. I thought it was so well made. It was a very had the standard tropes of an action movie, but I really liked it. I thought it had some funny twists on it. The acting was really good. I really liked it.
How is Amber or not Amber Heard?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. What the fuck's her? Let me see.
Joe, you know.
Aubrey
Aubrey
Plaza. She was pretty good. I actually really liked her character. I mean, you're gonna get the sarcasticness out of her and all that, but she was a cool character. Josh Hartnett, he plays a celebrity who's kind of an idiot, but he's so freaking funny.
Really?
He's so good. Hugh Grant's great in it. Hugh Grant has he was great in Dungeons and Dragons also, in my opinion. He was great. Jason Statham, you know what you're going to get with him. I really like it. I think this movie's a lot better than
I
the
want to get more into Guy Ritchie. I actually just, I didn't finish it, but last night I started watching Snatch.
Oh, fire. It's so good.
Yeah.
How are you liking it so far?
I like it. Besides the fact that I can't really understand Brad Pitt's accent at all.
Yeah.
Besides that. I'm not really into those kind of spy action comedy movies. Even I watched Kingsman kind of recently, and I just it was good, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not really... And Guy Ritchie, I feel does a lot of those.
Yeah, even this. Yeah. This is OD. I don't think you probably wouldn't like this then.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm still planning on watching it.
Definitely, bro. I thought it was underrated.
But anyways, yeah. So my 9th of highest of the year was Infinity Pool, which we saw. I mean, we saw it at the beginning of the year. T, you ended up seeing it, right?
Yeah.
But I think I might be a little biased on it because when Joe and I went, it was there was a Q&A with Mia Goth after and
it's sick.
Alexander Skarsgård, because I think I might have been like not making myself like it more than because I did really like it, but I could see where there could be some bias there just because I had a great time like in the theater watching it.
Yeah.
So, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Number 8, I had The Flash, which much as a controversy, still was a pretty good movie.
Respect.
T.
I have it even higher than that, but I love that that's in your top 10, given how much I fucked with it.
Yeah.
My number 8, I think, is Megan.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I love that it's up there for you, bro.
Yeah, I loved it.
I really liked it too. It was that's like 14 for me, which is still, it's pretty high up.
And I had a great theater experience with it. It was packed crowd. I think it was the first night, and people were like there's when you're in a theater, like people either make funny sound effects or like annoying sound effects, and everybody was on their funny. Everybody was on their funny shit. So it was a great experience. I liked what it did. I thought it was really well written. I thought it was funny also. So
and it's hard to with these horror movies, it's hard to like bring in like a new kind of horror like slasher icon.
Yeah,
and like Megan, I feel like works really well as like a killer.
Oh, dude,
the new one's coming out 2024.
They're coming out the second one.
Yeah, I mean I think 2025. Yeah.
I did not know that. I'm hyped though.
But yeah, and then 8 had Asteroid City, which we already talked about it enough, so we could just skim past that, Joe.
7, I had Dungeons and Dragons.
All right.
7 for me, I had Scream, the new Scream. I don't think you guys were as high on it as I was, but I really liked it. I liked the characters. I even liked the twist, like the 3.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not going to spoil it too much. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that Scream. That's one that I thought was going to be like my highest of the year, but I just for whatever reason I didn't like it. I think I do have to rewatch it though, because like you were saying, how some people are annoying in theaters.
Yeah.
Bro, I had the worst theater experience watching that shit.
Really?
Because it was like, I mentioned it actually last episode, but it was like a 10 p.m. screening, like the Thursday night, and some like lady came in with her 2 like young kids.
Dude, it's like
they were screaming the whole time. I was just like, I like couldn't pay attention, bro.
Why bring them to this? You know?
No. But yeah, no, my 7 is one that I don't think either of you have seen, and I don't think it's very well known, but it's a movie called Rye Lane. It was a straight to Hulu. It's a rom-com, and it's kind of like a Before Sunrise situation, like that trilogy, where it's just like these 2 characters just meet, and nothing like substantial really happens. It's just sort of like them talking like for an hour and a half and like getting to know each other, but like just the dynamics between the characters and just the way it was shot, just it worked so well for me. Like it was just like a feel-good story. And I'll recommend that to both of you guys to check it out. So
definitely check that out.
Yeah. So Joe, what's your 6 then?
6, I had Air.
6, I had Creed 3.
Yeah, I think you liked Creed 3 a little more than Joe. I don't know. We talked about it on a previous episode.
Yeah.
Joe, that was on your list, right?
Yeah, that was 10.
Okay, great.
Yeah, my 6 was Air as well, though. I thought that was another like surprise for me.
Yeah.
It was just like another like feel good. The music was great. Performances were great. Did you see that, Tom, or no?
I saw it. I didn't like it as much. I don't think I liked it as much as you guys, but it was a good movie. Like there wasn't really anything bad about it, you know?
Yeah. All right, we're into our top 5.
Yeah.
This could get controversial.
That's what I'm saying.
Go ahead, Joe.
For number 5, I had, this is pretty controversial, I had Cocaine Bear.
Damn.
Which I really liked. I really, really fucking liked it.
That's interesting. I think I only gave that 3.5. I wasn't as high on it as you. I mean, I didn't see it in the theater, so.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you would have like, even if you saw it in the theater, you probably wouldn't have liked it as much as I did, but that definitely did hinder the experience, I'd say.
I really like Cocaine Bear also. It's not in my top 10, but I like that.
Yeah.
My 5 might be a little controversial. Spider-Man, the new Spider-Verse movie.
Spider-Verse?
That's not controversial at all.
Yeah, but I mean, like
people, it's the best of the year.
Yeah. For me, I thought there was 4 that were better, and my 4 is gonna ruffle some feathers. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought I think it's contingent on the next one because it's such a part one.
Yeah.
That if part two's fantastic, this could go a little higher. If part two sucks, this is gonna go lower. You know?
Yeah, I feel the same way as you.
Yeah.
It was. I'll get into it when I get up to it, but yeah, my number 5 was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Not that it was a huge surprise to me, but I usually wasn't like the biggest fan of the other Guardians movies. Like I like them, but I always preferred like the Avengers stuff. For some reason, this story just worked so well. It hit all the emotional notes. It had great action, and like we've kind of like seen these characters grow over like the trilogy as well as like showing up in the other Avengers films and stuff. So yeah, that's my number 5.
My number 4 was Guardians, just like you.
Yeah, you're keeping the same sentiment as me.
I haven't seen Guardians, but I've heard great things.
Oh, you gotta see it, dude.
Oh,
nah, I'm on my. I'm wait till it gets on D plus.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're like boycotting Disney.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm on my chill shit with Disney for a little.
You guys are on a break.
We're seeing other people right now. But my number 4 is The Flash. I know I already spoke about how much I loved it today, and I think it's a little controversial. I liked it more than Spider-Verse, but The Flash really did hit for me.
Okay. Yeah, and 4 was for me was Spider-Verse. It's about like on par with Guardians, I would say. I liked it a little more just because of like how stylized and the animation was. Like I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But this one, not that it would be a 5. Like I don't think it would be a 5 regardless, but it would be higher up if like it felt like its own standalone movie because it really just doesn't.
I agree.
Like the ending is just like way too cliffhangery that it just like nothing. There's no story that just gets resolved within this movie. Like it doesn't have a traditional beginning, middle, and end. It's like a beginning, middle, and no end.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
Went to 3.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Oh, my phone like just bugged out. For number 3, I had John Wick 4.
Damn.
Which
Okay.
is... Why you didn't like it that much?
No, I did, but I figured it would be higher up. To be honest.
I mean, it's number 3.
All right, bro. You're starting to get a little controversial, I would say, but continue. Didn't you say it was one of like the best action movies ever made?
Yeah, I think so. But this is my personal list. I mean, I can acknowledge that the action movies aren't my favorite type of movie.
You're right. I shouldn't question another man's list. You're right.
Yeah.
My bad. But you want to say anything about it or no?
I mean, I think I'm not even a big John Wick fan in general, but I just feel like the action sequences in this movie are like unlike anything I've ever seen. And I'm Matt, you could attest to that.
Yeah, definitely. Mine's a little higher up than that. I'm not spoiling it yet, but let's see.
Yeah.
My number 3, I think I have the same. I'm no spoilers, but I'm not even gonna say.
Just say your 3, bro. Just
where. Well, you want to do 2, and then is that how you want to do it?
You're good.
We'll do it the same way.
All right, my number 3 is Beau Was Afraid. I loved it. I thought it's funny. A lot of my top on my list are like not as liked as like how much other people likes it, which I guess makes sense because it's like my list. This movie's a little out there, obviously, but I thought it was just so well made. It was really a trip, like it really was, and I really can't say it. I loved it, and I thought about it for like weeks after. Like, there's so much in there, and I bet on second viewing I would notice so much stuff that I didn't notice on the first. And I'm happy to see Ari Aster kind of like shift to more of a humorous side.
Yeah.
And I think he passes the test of flying colors.
Yeah. No, I agree. I also have Beau Was Afraid at 3. Everything you just said, bro. Like, and besides that, we got Joaquin Phoenix, who's my favorite actor, like in the lead. He was just showing off his range and like, just like that. There's no way for me to properly like describe the film Injustice without seeing it. It is like it's a lot to embark on to start. It's a 3-hour film that's like very out there. So I actually saw it in IMAX in the city. It was like insane. That was like the only IMAX movie I've seen in like a long time. But Yeah, I just like you said, I like how Ari Aster was sort of stepping out of his comfort zone a little bit, and I thought the film was hilarious.
So
I
did
loved
I.
like all the absurdist humor.
Yeah.
Walk was great. Like the side characters were really good. Obviously, there's some parts of the story that I didn't understand, and like you said, on a second viewing, I might be able to appreciate it more. But yeah, that's my three.
Number two for me. This is for me. So, I had Evil Dead Rise, but Evil Dead is probably it is my favorite horror franchise. And it leaned into more of the elements that I enjoy in Evil Dead. So for me, I like really, really loved it.
That's a W.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hate on that.
That's a massive W.
But
That's
I thought,
I'm like you could have people. I understand it's not a perfect movie, but for me, I loved it.
I loved it also, and like you said about Scream, I had a bad theater experience with it also. Dude, these horror movies bring out the
Yeah.
worst people.
Yeah,
They really do.
they do.
So, but I think if I watched it again, I would rate it even higher. But even with a bad experience and like annoying ass people around me, I still like loved it. So that's just a testament to how great, and I think it really goes well with the original story also. Like,
yeah,
obviously it's
Yeah.
different, but it does like the same.
It's like a
Yeah.
nice yeah. It's a little like it's pretty faithful to the originals, but it's like a little bit different.
so yeah, you wanna do your two?
Sure. My number two, John Wick 4. Everything you said, Joe. I loved it. It was so epic and well made. I forgot where it was. I don't want to say the wrong spot for like a lot of it. Was it Japan?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It was all but they were in Osaka at one point.
Yeah. It was awesome.
I forgot what was the other place they went? Where like they fight by the church. Is it London?
Forgot where that was.
Are you talking about the one where there's like that roundabout with all the cars like
Yeah.
smashing into them and shit? That might have been in London. I think. I don't know. But yeah, that's also my number two, John Wick 4. There ain't much to say that you guys haven't said already. It's just like non-stop action for like 3 hours, and I don't know. There was like I could see how some people say that it gets repetitive, but I feel like they were able to differentiate the action scenes enough that it didn't get repetitive. Especially like the one thing I'm gonna always take away from it is like that long shot scene from above where it just like follows John Wick, where he gets like the
flame shotgun.
yeah, the like flame rounds, and he's going through that whole entire like that building.
W.
It's just so impressive because
Yeah.
there's all these like stunts and effects going on, and they have to get it in one shot because the camera never cuts. So
I heard
sick.
this is a little side note, but I heard Extraction 2 apparently is supposed to have like on par with John Wick 4 in terms of the action.
really, yeah,
Like,
I
I've never seen
watch.
either. I've never seen either of the Extractions before, but I thought I was just want to point that out.
Yeah,
Something else about John Wick 4 that I really liked is I think I saw some people say this was a bad thing, but I loved it. I like Bill Skarsgård character kind of being like a pussy. Like,
really.
yeah,
I kind of didn't like that because
that's
Yeah,
a lot of
kinda.
people didn't.
Cause like if they would have, I don't know. I feel like they hyped him up in the trailer about how like they're supposed to fight each. I mean, like they're like oh like they're gonna fight, and like they I don't know the way they showed him in the trailer. I expected them to have like an actual fight, and he's a pretty big actor too. I figured they wouldn't just cast him just to kind of like stand there.
yeah, it's a good.
I
Point.
still love the movie. That's kind of like a nitpick to be honest, but
The thing I liked is the characters that annoy me the most are like ones that can't fight the fight and just like talk the talk and like just do petty like stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's no way like his character you're supposed to hate him and like want him to get shot in the head.
Yeah,
And I think did you guys probably hated him though, right? Like
yeah.
you guys probably
Yeah.
feeling different at least.
I love Donnie Yen in that movie too.
Yes.
Dude, he had
They the
one.
beast.
Remember that one line where he's just like, "Fuck off." That was so funny.
Yeah. Fuck off.
Oh, to that guy.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
fucking-
It was so funny. But, all right, Joe.
Um,
This is what we've
and
been waiting for. What's your
yeah.
top movie of the year so far?
my number one is Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, Across the Spider-Verse. which I mean is pretty. It's not that controversial. I feel like most people are pretty much
Yeah,
saying.
this
I
is
think
like
that's one of the better movies to come out this year.
at a point it was the highest rated Letterboxd film of all time, which
Yeah.
actually caused them. We could talk. I don't. See, I think you know a little more about it than me, but they like Letterboxd changed their rating system a little bit to like
Really?
to like prevent movies like that from getting to the top because like obviously it's not the greatest movie of all time. Now I think it's sitting at like 7 or 8 on that list.
What did they do to change it?
Do you want me to say
Yeah,
it?
go ahead.
I could be wrong, but I think they kind of tried going against like just people making accounts to hate on a movie a little bit better. And also like if they could, I don't know how I heard this, I don't know if it is true, but I heard if they're if you're more of like a fan of like a franchise or like a subgenre, they're going to weight your opinion less than like somebody who like is a casual to it.
That's fair.
And one thing I do know for sure is they made it less region. They made like, let's say this is what happened. A lot of Brazilian movies were in the top 10 or like top. I don't know about top 10, but they're like in the top 25.
Yeah.
And they were like only people in Brazil really saw them, and like South America in general. And if like people in all regions like kind of didn't agree, it lost some weight. Like, or if like if a movie's only big in like what's that? Come and See.
Oh yeah.
Like that movie was big everywhere. Like everybody agrees that movie was great. So that movie didn't get hurt. But let's say a movie in Brazil that only Brazilian people thought was great, it's gonna have less of a respect. Than,
absolutely, yeah.
And I feel like looking at I did look through like the revised top 250, and I do kind of think it's more accurate now.
So do I.
Than before. So whatever they did worked, I think. But T, it's time to talk about your number one, bro. I think we share it.
Yeah. So this last week, me and Matt, we went to the city to see Past Lives. I loved it.
Matt was telling me.
It's actually I think we could bounce off each other for this one, but it's just like it was insane, bro. I couldn't stop thinking about it for like the next week after, because it's just like
it's not gonna get a release by us, man.
I don't know.
It did. I think it's by the mall. I think.
Oh yeah. If it's on AMC, you should go see it.
Dude, you got to see it, Joe.
It's basically just like a what if story where it's like it follows. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the trailer for it, Joe, but it's like these two people that like all things point to the fact that they're meant for each other and they should be together, but just because of like certain decisions that they made or certain circumstances in their lives, they just couldn't be. And it sort of makes you think about like what you missed out on in your life based on like decisions you
choices you make and stuff like that. Like kind of like a butterfly effect type of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Yeah, but it just like the last scene or the last like 30 minutes, dude. I was just like holding my breath, bro. Like it was actually insane. Like I can't even explain it. But yeah, I don't want to go into too much of the story without spoiling it.
I kind of want to watch that.
There's just like so much commentary on relationships and life, and just like what things that the characters say to each other that just like sticks with you.
Yeah,
and it's one of those films where there's just like these three main characters, and they're all at like different sort of points in their lives, and they're in different like aspects of relationships, and you could see yourself in each of them like at a different point in your life. So it's kind of like, you know.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. The only thing that I'm going to add is this is my only 5-star of the year.
Damn. Yeah, it's still a 4.5 for me for now. But
yeah, I don't have a 5-star this year yet. Well, to come out this year.
Yeah, it's I like it. Also ties into like Korean culture a little bit, and like
Inyeon.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say too much, but I thought that was very well done, and I love the cinematography. Also, I really can't say too much bad about it.
The director is like she's Korean, right?
I think so. Yeah, she's like new. I think.
Yeah, this is her first film.
Yeah,
she's like a playwright. So that's why the writing is so good. But yeah, like imagine this is your feature debut.
Yeah,
it's insane. But yeah, so those are our top 10 so far. I mean, we have like pretty similar lists.
Yeah.
Joe, Past Lives for you, Joe, will probably be up there. I don't know if you'll enjoy it as much as we did, but
I'm sure it would be in my top 10 at least.
Yeah, it's like being acclaimed as like one of the best of the year. It's like basically, you remember After Sun from last year, Joe?
Yeah, I still haven't seen that, but I know.
It's like it's like that movie. It's like the
Okay.
After Sun of this year. How it's like a small.
Yeah.
That was also like a directorial debut.
Are like the actors just as good as Paul Mescal? Like anybody that's gonna get big from this, you think or no?
Well, it's kind of weird because I looked on the girl who's the main actress in this, and she's in Spider-Verse.
Really?
Yeah, she voices like like Spider-Man 2099 has like that little helper lady, like the tiny one. What's her name? She like voices that character.
That's
Oh wow,
crazy.
I didn't know that.
So
That's kind of
she
cool.
she's in two of the biggest movies of the year. So
Yeah.
Dude, low key, I didn't even think the acting was that good.
There's more
I
of the
agree.
story.
Yeah, it was just
Okay.
so well written, so well. I mean, that they didn't really have to do that much,
Yeah.
It was right in front of them.
Like
Do you agree, Matt? Or?
Yeah, there wasn't any like big like emotional scenes or like big monologues and
Yeah.
shit. The characters felt like authentic. Like it felt like you could have been a fly on the wall
So,
for
like-
these characters.
like
you know?
what?
But,
So like, here's a question: like, what differentiates something like this from like Everything Everywhere, where the performances are like so are as not just the story being a fantastic story, but the performances as well are like amazing too.
well, I feel like that might be something that pushed it over the edge. Like I think Everything Everywhere is better than this film, but maybe that's because of those performances.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to compare the movies because they are like so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this movie more than Everything Everywhere. I would say Everything Everywhere has better performances.
Mhm.
I just thought
Do you like the story better?
I like the story better, yeah. And
Yeah,
I mean, I could. There's also a more relatable aspect, which I mean, I know it's probably not supposed to, but for me, that like is an inherent thing to it. If I like
Mhm.
connect with the film more, I'm going to
No,
like
absolutely.
it more.
Yeah.
But Joe, I think you're gonna love this. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to catch one of the days in a mall. I'll probably go and watch it.
Oh, let's
So,
go.
Let's go. So yeah, those are our top 10 so far. Yeah, we'll move on to some movie news that we've gotten over the past 2 weeks. A couple of big things and then a couple small things to talk about.
Yeah.
The big one probably is the fact that Disney pushed back a shit ton of their film slate due to the writer strike. A lot of the Marvel films got pushed back. Now the next Marvel film coming out after the Marvels is going to be Deadpool 3, which is pretty cool.
They moved it up, right? 3 months?
Yep. Yeah. And also Avatar 3 got pushed back a year. It was supposed to come out December of 2024. Now it's coming out December 2025. And I'm pretty sure like Avatar 5 isn't coming out till like 2029 or 2030 or some shit, which is insane. But what do you think about like the delays? I think Tom, you mentioned that you think it was a good idea for them to do this, right?
Yeah, I think them moving Deadpool up was also brilliant because I mean, hot take. I don't think the Marvels is gonna be good.
Yeah.
Really?
I saw the trailer the other day, and I'm a casual, so I didn't see the TV shows. Matt like explained to me that I think all the characters, like all three girls, were in shows, right?
Well, Captain Marvel's from like
Yeah.
the first Captain Marvel, but then
Yeah.
the other two are from
One
WandaVision and then
Mrs. Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Yeah.
I know not a
also-
lot of people have seen Miss Marvel, but it is actually it's good. It's like cute, It's not anything like amazing, but the girl who plays Miss Marvel is like she's good. She's a huge. It's kind of like how Tom Holland was like a massive fan before.
Yeah,
It's similar to that. Like she's a huge comic book fan. Like even in like her when she was at like interviews and stuff, you could tell like she's a big nerd. Like she really likes this stuff. So she's like I feel like a lot of people are gonna like her character. But honestly, I have to disagree. I really thought that the trailer looked good for the Marvels. Like I think it looks super unique compared to most of the other MCU movies that have been coming out.
yeah. I mean, it definitely. I think that is fair to say it's unique. I don't know. It just didn't hit for me.
That's
But-
that's fair.
I also haven't seen the TV shows, and I don't really know these characters as well as you guys do.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think you guys like know more about this stuff than me. So I
Yeah.
think I'm just like,
No, but this is like that movie's one that I look at and I'm like people are probably not gonna enjoy this unless like they actually enjoy the world and
Yeah.
enjoy the characters.
Yo.
Because in like why should I give a fuck about those characters? Like there's really no reason besides the fact that like I'm invested into this world already. You know
You know something though?
what?
I heard that the test screenings were really good.
Really?
Yeah.
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 I think I saw something recently about the test screenings, but I didn't see that they were like insane or anything. But we'll see.
We'll see. I'm honestly probably not going to see it. I can't even lie.
Yeah.
If I didn't see Guardians, I'm probably not going to see this.
Yeah.
You should
But
definitely see Guardians.
let's say, but like my point is that the fact that Deadpool is coming out, I think it's going to be after. This is the next movie after.
Mm-hmm.
The fact, I think that'll get more good faith in a casual,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
also like it's gonna be the first R-rated movie in like the Marvel MCU.
Yeah,
So
that's huge.
people are gonna be interested. People like love the other Deadpool movies, so
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
that'll be cool. Talking about Deadpool 3 though, I think you mentioned Joe that apparently that's gonna be another multiverse story, and
Yeah.
Ben Affleck was spotted on set apparently. And for those of you who don't know, he played the character of Daredevil
And the Fox.
back in the day. So there's some theories that he might make a little cameo as Daredevil.
Yeah.
I'm curious for you, Tom. Like, what are your thoughts on all these multiverse stories?
Dude, it's crazy. I like the Flash so much. I hate them, dude.
Really?
I hate them.
I was actually gonna. Now I remember what I was gonna say to pick. Like I remember I was thinking about something I missed to piggyback off of something, because it has to do with the multiverse. But finish what you were saying, Tom.
Word. I was just gonna say, I feel like it's an easy cop out a lot of the time. I know you disagree. You said that. Well, I'll let you explain your.
What, like an easy cop out, as in like you could just bring any
Yeah,
character and
you bring any character, they could survive whenever. Besides the Flash, I think that's another thing I like about the Flash.
Yo, that was my whole thing with like with Kang and Ant-Man, is that like he supposedly dies in this movie in like Ant-Man, spoilers, but like whatever. And then at the end of the movie is like a post-credit scene. There's like a whole arena filled with like thousands of Kangs. So it's like,
Just like, what the fuck was that for?
yeah, like this Kang just died. Like who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, there's 1,000 other of them, and I see how that could be an issue with like storytelling for sure. But I think when they use the multiverse to like do these cameos, as long as it's in good faith and it's like tasteful, I think it's like a lot of fun for the audiences to get that fan service. Like Spider-Man No Way Home, you've seen that, right?
Yeah, that was really good.
That was like you're using it to bring in these beloved characters to come back, you know.
But I just don't want it to be like a main plot point for a lot of movies coming up, because it's starting to, in my opinion, it's starting to become redundant now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I feel like at first, studios didn't think that like the audiences would be able to grasp the concept of like a multiverse, and now that there have been successful films using it, like really like Rick and Morty was one of like the first like pieces of popular like culture that would use the multiverse, and they saw like how well that did. They saw like shit like Spider-Man No Way Home worked, and they're like, all right, like audiences do understand this and they do like this shit, so let's try to like use it as much as we can to make money.
Great point.
You know, so that's why there is such a big surge of it nowadays.
So you're saying Rick and Morty is the most influential media of the 21st century?
Yeah,
Dude, it honestly is actually up there.
it could be.
Yeah.
You see what's going on? How they have to like recast the lead in it?
Didn't he do some like fuck shit?
Dude, he's just like
he
a
was,
weirdo.
Freak, yeah.
He would like message.
He like message like underage girls and like to talk as if he's like.
Yeah, he would like talk as if he's Rick and like the text messages. Like,
What a fucking
It was like really weird. But then apparently he did. That wasn't even. It was that, and then what? Like he got arrested or something like that.
yeah, like his girlfriend accused him of like domestic abuse or something. But yeah, so they fired him from the show. But like that, their voices are so like iconic, you know.
Was he a writer on it?
Yeah,
So he probably actually was like probably
Apparently
talented.
though, like from what I've heard, like he hasn't been involved in the writing in the recent seasons. Like he's taking more of like a
yeah. Dude, but you know who they cast as Rick?
Who?
The Rock.
No, you're kidding.
No, I'm kidding.
I believed it for a tenth of a second, dude. I really did.
Bro, I don't know who they're gonna use to take over that voice. But
Maybe AI, bro.
who knows? Oh wait, bro, that's a good transition point
Honestly.
here, though. Because
wait, I want actually.
let me bring this up here really quick.
Yeah.
So Marvel they're currently one of their new TV shows is releasing episodes. The first episode was last week, and the intro to the episode, like the artwork, it was made fully with AI, and people are like losing their shit online about it. So I'm curious what you guys think of that, and like, do you think that's going to be something that we see more of in Hollywood, or do you think like this negative backlash, people are going to back down from it?
I mean, I hope that they stop doing shit like this. I don't know. I don't like. I don't think it really belongs in. Like, I don't know. It's supposed to be made like it's a story. Like people thought of it. Like people work on it, and to just use even for scripts and stuff, I don't even like it. Like I just feel like it's such a waste of money. And also, like you could have paid artists to make unique, cool, and it doesn't even look good. It looks. I get it. It's supposed to be like a whole like. I don't know. I just don't like it at all.
I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you. I think that this is a scary transition because anytime I'm happy that it got a lot of backlash though, but
Yeah.
this is a scary transition. But I thought it kind of I only saw it for a split second. Matt showed me the other day. I thought it looked pretty good. I'm sure a human probably could have done it better, but yeah, I'm not a big fan either.
Yeah, I think it like goes with the vibe of the show because the show is about like sort of it's about like these shape-shifting aliens that are trying to like overthrow a government, and it's sort of like a hostile takeover from like something that's not human. So I feel like the idea of them using AI like makes narrative sense a little bit. Also, like I just don't give a fuck, bro. It's the intro. Like who cares? And the thing that people on Twitter don't realize is like, let's say like my dad who watches like the Marvel shit. He's just gonna boot up the TV, like toss it on, just watch the show. Not even gonna realize that it was AI at the intro, or not even give a fuck if he doesn't skip the intro as it is. Like I feel like people are making a way bigger deal.
It's more about like them because like they employ probably two people that run an AI system as opposed to like 15, 20 artists that could have drawn picture. Like it's not one artist working on it, it's multiple artists that like for example, like the She-Hulk credits or like whatever the opening. Like honestly, I thought it was really cool that it was a creative style that they drew it like a courtroom, like it was because it's a court. You know, she's a lawyer. Like they drew it as if it's like a court case. The pictures.
Yeah,
Like
I don't think Marvel would have used AI though for like another show. I think it just goes with the style of this show, and I think that's why they did it. They should have
I
like
don't know.
seen backlash coming, but I don't.
But like
really
my
think
whole thing is, if it looked amazing, I'd be like, all right, what? Like I could at least understand it. But in my opinion, I think it looks stupid.
Yeah, I mean it is.
I
Just
understand the aesthetic, like what they were going for. I just don't like. I don't know.
All right. What did you you're about to say something before though?
Oh, do any of you watch Invincible?
I don't.
Matt,
Is it
do
a
you?
TV show?
Nah,
Yeah.
I don't. I've only seen the first episode of it.
Oh, well, so basically they came out and said that the next season, like, they're going to be dealing with the multiverse.
God.
But, like, because I mean, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, this is fucking stupid. But apparently, according to people, like, this is, like, what happens in the comics. Like, this is, like, an accurate, like, adaptation of, like, what happens in the comic. Like, it's not, they're not just doing it for the trend. Like, it's actually a big part of the story, apparently.
Yeah, I mean I don't watch the show, but if I ever do, I mean, I heard it's really good.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. You should, especially if you like J.K. Simmons, man.
Yeah,
He's in it.
yeah,
Yeah,
he plays.
That's
he
fire.
plays the
plays
voice
Omni in
cast.
it.
The voice cast is like stacked.
Really?
Steven
Yeah.
Yeun, I think, is in it, right?
Yeah, he plays the main dude.
Interesting.
Holy shit! Yeah, this cast is stacked. Mark Hamill, Seth Rogen. Pretty sick.
You mean
Yeah, the
Donkey
whole
Kong?
like most of their money went towards like the cast and not really the animation. But now that it's mad popular, like this season the animation's gonna be like 10 times better.
It's interesting. All right, what else do we got though for? Oh, we got a
lot.
couple trailers, dude. I'm gonna Kraven, the next expansion of the Sony Marvel universe, where they've had so much success with Morbius.
Morbius.
Dude, they gotta just let this shit die, bro. I don't know if you
Yeah.
watched that trailer, Tom, or not, but
I haven't seen. I saw the poster though. I liked it.
no, the poster's cool. I think the casting is cool, but it's just like watching the trailer, it feels like the same exact story as Venom and as Morbius. Where it's just like a villain should be a villain, should be like fighting Spider-Man, just like doing good things and being like an anti-hero. It's like
I feel like
it hasn't worked. Why do they keep doing this?
I feel like this like Kraven, this is like the one where like they don't like he's not a hero, but like they should have just made him like get paid to hunt someone that's just like an even worse person than him. Not that he's good, but like they're already paying it, so he's like, oh, I have to take the evil that my father put in the world. Like just make him bad and just make him hunt someone that's even worse than him. Like it doesn't have to be.
Bro, it's
You know what I
weird
mean?
because you have a perfect blueprint with like Joker. Like he's an asshole in that movie. He literally shoots a guy on live TV.
Yeah.
Like he's a real villain, and the movie's about him, and it works. And that made $1 billion, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good point.
So why can't they just commit to making villains like do
No, I
bad
agree. I
shit?
agree.
Like the people that are gonna come out and see this movie are like comic book like nerds, people that like the characters as
Yeah.
you know. So why do such a departure from how they are in the source material?
To be fair, Morbius was such a good movie that like
Yeah.
they have to make a. I understand why they're like
Yeah, you're
they're leaping off of it.
Yeah.
they're leaping off the major success of Morbius.
Yeah,
Do you think Morbius will ever return?
I hope the fuck not.
Bro,
Absolutely not.
I think he might, bro.
It what? Like what?
Kraven post-credit scene.
No, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm telling you right now what the post-credit scene is. He's gonna have a list, and it's either gonna be like Venom's name, Spider-Man's name, or like one of the other Sony characters' name. Like that. Like he crossed out someone's name, and then like the next name on the list is gonna be them. I'm calling it right now.
To like hunt them.
Yeah,
That's a smart call. That might actually happen.
I'm calling
I
it.
could see that.
That's
No.
100% what's gonna happen.
Did you see? Remember we talked about it on a previous episode where it was like there was apparently a leaked post-credit scene for
Oh
Kraven.
yeah.
And it was like Craven's chilling and gets a phone call, and someone's like, "Yo, there's a vulture and a vampire robbing a bank. Can you like go capture them?" And he's like, "Bet." And the movie then like it just cuts to black.
Was it real, the leak?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean, now that the trailer's out, if we look back at it, I'm sure we could find like we'll be able to tell.
no, it's also weird because like they like in the trailer, there's a scene where he gets like a young version of Kraven gets attacked by a lion, and the lion's like blood drips into his blood, and then he gets like powers from it, which is not how the character is from the comics. As far as I don't, does he even have powers?
No, he has like low level like powers, like enhanced strength and speed. Like not like fucking. He's not as strong as like Spider-Man and shit, but like
Yeah, but
just
now
like
in the movie they're gonna make it so he can like communicate with animals and shit, and it's just like
honestly
so
though, that I don't even mind that much.
Could be cool.
Yeah, like that I don't like. It's just stupid how he got his powers.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I guess I'll wait and see.
Like if he was just born naturally and he had the like, I would be like, right. Honestly, I would like that better. Honestly,
Dude, I have a feeling I'm just gonna hate it, bro. Can't lie.
probably it's probably gonna suck. Yeah.
Bro, honestly, I'd rather take the AI generated intro to the Marvel show than like a movie that seems like it was AI generated with how like generic its script
Generic
is.
it is.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can't say until I see it.
Do you guys like Venom too?
I liked
Yeah.
it.
It's fun. The
I
Venom's.
liked it,
I feel like the Venom movies are the only ones that actually work.
Yeah.
I feel like they should be rated R, but they're not. So it's just kind of like
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if Kraven does good, maybe they'll have the balls to make like Venom. Let There Be
Raven's gonna
Carnage.
be rated R. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
The Venom Let There Be Carnage should have been R rated. Like that.
Yeah.
That storyline in the comic. He's like a maniac, Carnage.
That's a good point. I think that maybe that could, if it is rated R and they like use the capabilities. I mean, it is a little redundant to Venom and Morbius, but
Yeah.
there could be some cool aspects. Animal like communicates with animals and they rip somebody like the fuck off. Like
there's a scene in the trailer where like Kraven himself is like fighting some guys and he like bites one of their noses straight off and like spits
Pretty
it out.
hardcore.
Yeah, like that type of like bloody fight scenes could be cool. So
guess we shall see. And Aaron Taylor, that's his name, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah,
Aaron
he's
Taylor
pretty
Johnson.
good.
Oh yeah, he's great.
good.
Yeah,
he's great. He's great.
So if it,
Yeah.
he's no Jared Leto.
Yeah, he ain't no Jared Leto. He ain't no Chris Pratt or The Rock either.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Now the last couple things, bro. You really know the most about this shit, Joe. It's like
yeah. I was just gonna say.
So Netflix is doing some live action adaptations of anime, one of which being Avatar: The Last Airbender, and the other is One Piece.
Well, anime. Oh, Avatar's an anime.
I mean, hey, is it?
No,
How's it
it's
not?
it's anime inspired. It's like
Oh,
more it's because like you anime. I forgot what like the actual definition is, but something about the art style. Like it's not you. There's definitely anime roots in Avatar. You can tell, but it's just it's not considered an anime.
how did the live action images look though for Avatar?
Honestly, they look good. I mean, like they look pretty accurate. Honestly, his like the suit that he wears is accurate. He has the blue arrow mark. And it also helps that this time the cast is actually Asian and not like the whole story is like about Asian culture. Like they like I remember in the movie, the water like they're based off Eskimo people, like the Inuit people, and like
Yeah.
they're all just like they look Irish. Like they're like what the fuck. So I mean that's the characters look accurate, which is cool. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't really know anymore from the cast. I know that the guy who's playing Zuko, who's arguably probably one of the best villains in all of media, in my opinion, um, is the guy who played like the younger Shang-Chi.
I don't
But
really.
other,
I mean,
yeah, I don't really know the cast that well, but we'll see. But
One Piece is the big one though, right? Because I know
yeah,
you're
the
a
One
huge
Piece
fan of that.
trailer. So I know it's honestly it's getting a lot of hate. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty mixed. Some people like
I,
think it looks like good, and other people think it looks like horrible.
I thought it looked like complete shit, bro. I can't even lie. But I also
And
never watched like the
I mean,
anime.
it looks pretty accurate to the story, like in my
But there's
opinion, at
just there's like
least.
something about it that just looks like incredibly low budget.
Do you know?
Which
You see
doesn't
how
make
much
sense.
each of the
Yeah,
episodes cost?
dude, 18 mil an episode, bro, and it
Yeah.
looks terrible. There's like something with the lighting or like the backgrounds or something. It just doesn't look like stylized at
I
all. It
mean,
looks so bland.
that's like the style of
Dude, no, that I
that,
mean it
like
does.
where the islands are in that part of the story. Well, I don't know what they're how far they're gonna like adapt it. For those who don't know, One Piece is like one of the longest running manga in all of the world. I think and I'm pretty sure it's the number two best selling like technically. I mean, technically, manga is a comic book. It's only it's only behind Superman right now. Is like the second most sold comic book in the world, which is crazy because it's only been around for I think 30 years, and Superman's been around almost 100 years. But it's basically impossible to adapt the entire series. You
Yeah,
can't, So I don't know how far they're actually going to get in this season. They're probably going to adapt. It's called Romance Dawn, which is like the first like saga. Like it's basically the first 40 chapters of the manga. But it looks pretty accurate to what the show looks like, in my opinion. The
I
cast
just
feels
I feel
like
like it
how
looks
the.
too dull. It doesn't look like colorful enough.
I mean, that part where they're on is not very. I don't know. That's the scenes that are in it. Like that's like maybe like the first episode, at least from what we've seen. It takes place in like an island where he breaks somebody out of prison. Like there's not much like no One Piece is known for being very like colorful and vibrant, but like they're not at those locations yet. If it, I don't know. But in my opinion, I thought this like the costumes looked great. The CGI looked like fine. It didn't really look like it was like horrible.
All
But
right,
we'll have to wait and see.
we'll see. Well, I'm not gonna watch it probably, but I don't know.
I'm probably gonna watch it. The only reason why I have faith in it is because the actual author of One Piece is an executive producer on the show, and he was involved. Like he oversaw all the casting, all the like the script rights and everything. So, like if he's involved, I have some sort of hope. And the trailer looked like pretty accurate to how One Piece is, in my opinion. So we'll see.
All right. I
But then
mean,
again, I said the same thing with Cowboy Bebop, and that was fucking atrocious.
yeah, I feel like anytime they try to adapt anime to live
Yeah.
action, it's just like it's. I've
If
never seen
I
it work.
mean, it's a yeah. Technically, if you're even adapting it, it's not going to be accurate because it's intended to be animated. Like there's certain things in animation that you just can't do in live action.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So we'll see though. I know you've been waiting a while to see a look at that. It comes out
yeah,
this year though, right?
yeah. August 31st. We'll see. I mean, I'm gonna watch it. We'll see how good it is.
Dude, hopefully, I hope it is good for your sake, but
It's gonna get shit on regardless, though. I feel like even if it is good, people are just gonna hate it just because it's
yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably not gonna be like, I mean, either way, I don't think it's obviously not gonna surpass the original, you know.
no,
So,
no.
but all right, that was really it for news in the film
Yeah.
world, as far as I could tell. I don't, unless you could think of it. You guys think of anything else that you remember seeing?
Not off the top of my head.
So yeah, let's move on to final film for today. It's one that I recommended. It's a film from 1984, directed by Wes Craven, and it is A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. This was one of my favorite horror films growing up, for sure, and it definitely like got me more into the genre. I feel like he's probably my favorite like killer out of the classics of like Michael Myers and Jason and all them.
Yeah.
And I feel like the film also was like really ahead of its time. Wes is actually he's just a genius, bro. Like he made this and Scream, which are two of like the biggest horror franchises ever.
Yeah.
But as like a general synopsis of the film, for those of you who don't know, it's basically about these teenagers that start having these recurring dreams of this man with like a burnt, disfigured face with a razor blade clawed hand that tries to kill them. But the thing is, they start realizing that they're all dreaming of the same person. And then some of them start to die in real life, and more is revealed about who the guy is and shit. And it's just like, I think the idea of being able to die in your sleep is like a really, really cool concept. And I like what they did with it, how like the characters had to try to force themselves to stay awake.
Pay up, yeah.
Using like there was one scene where Nancy, who's like the main girl, she like has a secret thing of coffee like underneath her bed, and like she's chugging cups. She had like sleep like pills to stay awake and shit. And it's just like the idea of something that is supposed to be usually comforting, which is sleep, that being what could kill you, is like really cool concept.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. I definitely think they did you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like, what year did this come out? This came out in the early 80s, right?
84.
84. This is like one of the most creative uses of horror. Like I don't think there was anything. Well, there was obviously creative stuff, but I feel like this was really out there, and it really like worked out so well. And you said this the other day, and like this, I agree with this also. Like opening like dreams and stuff, like really leads to some creative ideas. You know.
Yeah.
Whether you don't know if something's a dream, all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they did do it at some points, but like as an audience, like not knowing whether the characters, what they're seeing is real or not, is like a really cool concept, because it just, you never know like what to believe, like what's real, what isn't, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really interesting actually, like the way that this movie came about is Wes Craven basically shopped this out. He had this script and he like shopped it around to a bunch of studios, and like no one would buy it, because they were like, this is too out there. Like at that time, the big like 1978 was the original Halloween that had Michael Myers. I'm pretty sure Friday the 13th came out before this as well, where it's just like these stone-faced serial killers that don't say anything. They just kind of like walk and are very brooding and just kill you, and that's it. Freddy is like, he's kind of like a clown. Like he has all these one-liners and he like fucks with his victims more. And that for the time wasn't something that they thought audiences would accept. But what happened was he went to New Line Cinema, and they were basically like broke at the time. And they said, all right, we'll do your movie. But they had their entire studio like relying on this film. The budget was really low. And like if this movie failed, like New Line Cinema would just not exist anymore. So they call it like the house that Freddy built. That's like what they call the studio, because like if this movie didn't succeed, they would have just been fucked.
Yeah.
So that stuff is really interesting to me, like the background of everything. But
yeah,
I didn't realize that like they were, I don't know, like that they were that broke, and that this was like their saving grace.
Kind of a cool concept. I actually thought the cast was pretty good also. Like the girl did her thing.
Yeah. Heather Langenkamp, Johnny Depp's in there.
Johnny Depp, young Johnny.
Yeah.
It's crazy that this is his first role.
Yeah.
He was like discovered in this film, and obviously he's huge now, but well, maybe for the wrong reasons. But,
Yeah. I don't understand how they haven't, because a couple weeks ago, actually, I watched the remake of it, like the one from 2009 or whatever it came out.
Mhm.
And like Freddy in that movie is like so like stagnant and like just feels like an NPC. Like there's just no energy in the role. Like Robert Englund is so iconic in that role, and I forgot like how like he just I don't know he fit like he just plays the character so well.
yeah, I agree that he's so different than any of the other like horror icons. And
I mean, the closest I'd say is probably Pinhead in terms of dialogue.
damn, y'all heard that thunder?
Yeah.
I don't know if that came through on the mic, but sorry.
It's had a good time.
Setting the vibes right now. It's getting all spooky in here.
Okay.
Yeah, Robert Englund's a beast, bro.
Yeah.
I wish he said he's like too old to do it now though, and he wants them to continue it without him. So we'll see. But dude, I actually like, you know how in horror there's the concept of like the final girl, where it's like, well, first of all, before I get into that, this also was kind of interesting because at the beginning, like Nancy isn't really the main character. She's not the main girl. Like the main girl is that blonde chick, and she ends up dying within like, she's like the first death. So it's kind of like the girl you thought you were going to be following just dies like at the beginning. It was like a subversion of expectations, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that part. Just because, I mean,
yeah,
you think it kind of does in a lot of ways. Just steps away from the general genre tropes of horror movies, especially at that time. And it definitely had a lot of. You could tell. This is kind of off topic a little bit. You could definitely tell the Evil Dead influence also, the campiness.
Yeah.
But this had a lot of influence, I'm sure. Past once after this came out, also, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I also thought like all the kills were really well done. Like the one where the girl dies, how she sort of gets like dragged up onto the like ceiling and shit, and it's like stuff that like it was new for the time. Like this girl who's supposed to be like having a nightmare, and she's getting like pulled to the ceiling and shit, and like there's blood going everywhere. And it's also it leads to an interesting. You could take the story in like interesting places because, like, let's say that death, for example, because it happened from like this figure that's not there, it's in her dream. Obviously, like the guy's gonna get blamed for it. So there's gonna be like real people that get blamed for the shit. That's why like, you have the kid that ends up in jail, and he ends up getting killed in there, and it's like blamed on a suicide. Because like we've seen this trope in horror where it's like there is something killing people and like no one believes them. Like no one believed Nancy. Like they thought she was crazy and shit. It's kind of similar to like Child's Play, for example, with like Chucky, where like the kid's like, oh, the doll's alive, and like obviously the parents are like, no, like you're making shit up. But yeah, I felt like the way that they handled it in here was done very well.
Yeah, I agree. And there's there's real repercussions, obviously.
Yeah.
Did I forgot? Did the guy who they thought hung himself? Did he even like get his story did people know at the end? Like they didn't even know at the end. Like so didn't he just wind up like people just thought he was like a murderer that killed himself?
Yeah.
Like it ruined his whole it ruined everything for him. There was no justice there.
I know. Because like it didn't like explicitly show him trying to like plead his case, but he might have even known like if I tell this people like no one's gonna believe me anyway, so it's pointless. Yeah, my favorite character though, besides like Freddy is an obvious choice, but I really love Nancy. Like Heather.
Yeah, I really wasn't like I wasn't the biggest fan of Nancy, honestly. Like what's the girl? I just felt I don't know. Maybe it was just like the time period, but I felt like she was just so like I don't know, like corny. I guess maybe it was like for the time.
What do you mean corny? Like her line?
Like yeah, I don't know. Her line delivery and like the way she like I don't know.
I mean, it's a very 80s performance. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, but say that like the main girl in Scream, what's her name?
Neve Campbell.
Yeah, like I enjoy her character way more.
Yeah. That's the thing, like me saying that Nancy's like my favorite final girl in horror is like that's kind of like a hot take. Like she's not known to be like Neve Campbell playing Sidney Prescott is usually like one of the ones that's up there, or Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. those are like the big ones. But I don't know. There's just something about Nancy that I just really like for some reason. I can't put my like finger on it. It's also it was. I just want to point this out. Usually, a lot of times you see like the main girls get like sexualized, and she wasn't at all. Like she has the boyfriend, but there's no sex scenes, there's no nudity of her or anything, and yeah, which I was so tight about. But that was something different for like horror. A lot of the cheesy horror like relies on the sex and the nudity. That's like something you see in Friday the 13th a lot.
That's a good point. My favorite character, kind of like what I was saying a little bit before. I don't remember the exact name, but it was the guy who got accused of the murder.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have just been the way it was written, but like I just felt for him. Like I actually like felt like really bad for his character even afterwards. And he like when he brought her to like the woods,
yeah,
and he was like I really didn't fucking do this. Like,
yeah,
like something about it. I guess because I mean obviously my top two besides that is whatever his name is Freddy, and then Nancy. So
yeah.
but I did like that character also. But
all I'm saying is that I know what the next grade. What's the term again? I'm sorry.
What?
A final girl. I know what the next grade final girl is going to be.
The FNAF one.
Yeah.
That's gonna have a final guy. It seems like.
Oh yeah, actually, final guy. Well, final person.
What are we wearing to the FNAF screening, by the way?
I have my Freddy Fazbear.
Yeah, I think we should all dress up as one of the animatronics each.
Okay.
And like scare little kids when they come.
We have a little cousin that loves FNAF. Should we make him dress like the security guard?
Yeah. Dude, that would be so funny.
That'd actually be cool. Like me, you, Joseph Richard.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Anyways, back to the horror that's not as good as FNAF, but it's close. So wait, Joe, you never said your favorite character though.
Oh, Freddy.
Oh, it's that easy for you?
Yeah.
It's also interesting how they sort of get you to sympathize with him a little bit because when it reveals his backstory that he was accused of like murdering children, they never say whether or not he like explicitly did it, but he was murdered by these parents. Like they burnt down this boiler room that he was in or whatever, and that's why his face looks like disfigured. It's supposed to look like the scars of a burn victim. So you kind of feel for him a little bit. Like he was murdered, so he's getting revenge on the parents that murdered him by stalking their kids.
I thought that was sick.
Yeah. See, that's
I love the body horror elements of it too.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of good uses of blood and gore and stuff. Like Johnny Depp's death was one that stuck out.
Yeah.
He gets like sucked into the TV.
And the blood like flies.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, not the TV. Yeah, he gets sucked into the bed, right?
Yeah.
And then the blood flies, right?
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. What'd you think of the ending, though?
The ending?
I love
that. I love endings like that.
Really?
Where it's just like a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Well, like you know,
or it's revealed that he's still alive.
I thought that was such a cool scene, like with the car.
Here's the thing. Yeah, but like, what does it mean? Because at that point, all her friends are alive.
I think it's just supposed to say like it's just like the movie's over. It's like I don't think it's supposed to be taken too seriously. Kind of like at the end of Doctor Strange. You know how it ends and like he has the third eye.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't really like mean anything that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like
I think it's saying that she was like dreaming at that point because like obviously Freddy can only come in dreams, but besides like when she pulls him into the real world, so she was dreaming that all her friends survived and then actually not.
But is she though? Because then Freddy grabs her mom.
Yeah, but it still could just be in her dream.
That's true. Yeah.
It was kind of like Inception with like the spinning. Forgot.
That's how.
Yeah, it's like you don't know what's real, and you don't know what isn't, and I mean that's obviously a creative thing they did with the dreams. But something about me, I do like clarity and closure.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like the ending. I don't think I liked it as much as you, Joe. I didn't really. I mean, obviously, there's probably something more that like Wes was thinking, like with it, but I mean, I didn't understand it really. Like,
fair,
yeah, and it's funny. I know a lot about how like the behind the scenes shit with the movie, just because I watched like a lot of documentaries about how it was made and stuff. So that scene was sort of like they just like threw it together like at the end because they were like, oh, we want to leave it open so that he might survive in case we want to do a sequel. But they had like no money left, so that's why like it looks so horrible when like her body gets flung into the window. It's like so clearly a dummy because like they just like had to look around set at what they had.
That's insane, dude. That just shows how little they had, dude. That's wild.
But what's it called? I want to talk. Yeah, that Johnny Depp death scene that I mentioned, where like the blood goes on the ceiling. So the way that they did that is like they just built a rotating like set, so they set it upside down, which is like a common thing.
My fault. Sorry, my phone fell.
Dropped. A lot of films do that, but it's interesting because you know how like the blood shoots up and there's like a light on the ceiling. When they filmed it, when they shot the blood, first of all, like apparently like they didn't account for like how much was gonna come, so it just went everywhere, like all over set.
Oh shit!
But also since all that fake blood was like touching that electric, anyone who touched the blood got like shocked from it because it was like running through it like live electric. And apparently there's like a bunch of other like dangerous shit that happened on set. Oh yeah, Robert Englund, when he first tried on the glove, like just moved his fingers around with it, accidentally cut his wrist open, like because of how sharp the knives were. Yeah, because bro, they just like there was no like real like there was no like real safety things going on. Like they had no money to do this shit. So it is really interesting though.
It makes it cooler though, in knowing that context, you know.
Yeah. Did you guys have like a favorite scene from it?
I honestly like anytime Freddy was just being like a fucking menace, I enjoyed. Like the scene where he's in the walking and his arms stretch out really long and then like he cuts off his fingers. Like all the like the shit. Anytime he interacts with people and does stuff like that, like I really, really enjoyed.
I agree with Joe. I like the boiler room scene, but I agree. He stole the show whenever he was on the.
Yeah, one that I always think about is the there's like so many that I can name, but I really like the scene of Nancy like in the bathtub and his glove.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
that's like such an iconic shot, and it's just another thing where it's like her drifting in and out of sleep, and he's like appearing as she like is falling asleep. Then the mom calls her, and the glove goes down. I just thought it was like a cool way to sort of display that.
The score was really good too. Actually, I forgot to mention that.
I forgot to mention that too. It's such iconic music. Yeah, for sure.
And I forgot, like, I didn't realize how much of an influence, because, like, I didn't realize, like, for some reason, I don't know why, when I heard that, it kind of reminded me of the Stranger Things intro. And now, like, watching this, you could tell, like, there's some inspiration that Stranger Things took from, like, those 80s horror movies, but, and, like, Nightmare on Elm Street, you know.
It's funny, because Robert Englund actually was in...
Yeah, he played, like, a murderer, right?
He plays, like, that blind guy. Or no, I think... Like he gets blamed for like murders that Vecna did or something, but either way, it was cool to have him in there because you could tell it was definitely inspired by. That's kind
of interesting because like Freddy technically got he was accused, but he wasn't like proven that he killed those people. So I mean, similar type of character.
Yeah. So wait, Tom, I had a question for you. Like, are you really into these type of cheesy horror movies at all, or?
I like them. I really do like them. I didn't think this cheesiness worked as well as Evil Dead did, because I kind of didn't think this had as much of an identity at times as Evil Dead.
Yeah.
But I love this movie, so that's just a minor like gripe that I have.
Yeah.
So yeah, but just for both of you guys, like where does it rank? Like not a specific. You don't have to like make a list or anything, but compared to like the other classics like Halloween, like Friday the 13th.
Oh, it's just as good. It's like one of the best of the 80s.
Yeah. Do you mean like horror movies in general, or just like classics?
Yeah, like the classics.
I think it's in the top tier. Like it's 1A, 1B, 1C. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
I think this is like my personal favorite, but it's close to like I really like Hellraiser a lot.
Yeah, Hellraiser.
I think Halloween's a bit overrated, the franchise.
I haven't seen that either.
Friday the 13th, I'm not a fan at all, to be honest. I know, Joe, that used to be like your favorite.
I used to love that, yeah. I haven't watched them in a while, though. But I feel like with Nightmare on Elm Street, like, there's just so many possibilities with way like because there's so many unique ways he could make Freddy like basically kill these people. And I remember like in the I haven't watched them I've seen in a while, but the later sequels like they get way more like nuts with the way that he kills people.
Yeah, he gets like too comedic in the sequels. They make they make the movies basically like comedies, which like I didn't really enjoy.
Yeah, wasn't there one
That's
where he turns like a giant like fucking snake thing and eats someone?
yeah. There's one where he turns into like a witch, like the Wicked Witch of the West, and he's like flying outside someone's window. It's like too goofy.
Yeah, that sounds excessive.
Yeah.
I remember one where he takes the lady and slams her in the TV. I
Oh yeah.
remember that being mad funny when I was a kid. I
That's
don't know
nice.
why.
No, that one. That's from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which is a movie
The
called. It's
Dream
called
Warrior one.
yeah. That's like that and the first are like known to be the two best in the franchise because that one like Nancy comes back. She's not in the second one, but she comes back for the third.
Yeah.
And basically, instead of bringing Freddy into the real world, they decide to like fight him in their dreams, and it's like a pretty cool concept because
Yeah.
you know you could dream of whatever you want, and then taking him down there instead of in the real world was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So, but all right, I guess get to ratings on it. I gave it a 4.5 star, 9 out of 10. This one is one that's always been close to a 5 star, just because of like how impactful it's been for like my life and the things that I like nowadays. It's like the reason why I like horror so much. But I understand like it's not technically like a 5 star, so it's hard for me to like give it that boost. But it's just, like about as close as it can be.
Yeah.
So
I gave it a 8 out of 10 or 4 out of 5. Again, I really liked it, but it's still at the end of the day, it's like it's not like anything super. It's it's a horror movie. It's not like an amazing piece of cinema. It's very enjoyable, but I don't. It's not like a 5 star.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, oh, sorry, Joe.
No.
I agree with Joe. I think it's a really strong 4. Like, if I
Mhm.
rated all my 4s, this would be on like the very high end. I mean, with some of the context you gave, and like with how like little money they had,
yeah,
kind of like making me reconsider it. But the ending was a little off-putting, and I didn't know what it was going for some of the time, and both those things were slightly off-putting, but I loved it. I thought it. You could just tell when something's iconic watching it,
yeah,
and that was iconic, you know.
yeah. Very interesting. So
Yeah.
that I guess wraps it up our discussion, but we're not done yet. We got a little Q&A sesh.
Let's go.
Oh.
Got a couple of questions this week. Tom, I know you asked a bunch that you just wanted us to discuss.
Yeah, I had some ideas,
Okay.
and I haven't thought about the questions that I asked either. So they're like new questions to myself also.
Yeah. All right, so wait, let's do two that aren't from you first. These are both from @rob.imperato, who is our younger cousin. He's been helping us out with these questions.
Shout out Rob.
Shout out to Rob. He says, are you more or less excited for the new DCU after The Flash?
Way more excited.
After The Flash, I feel like...
No, I thought.
like-
I'm yes, but not because the Flash was good. Just because I'm happy they're gonna reset everything.
Yeah, I feel like I'm indifferent. Like, my opinion hasn't changed based on The Flash, because I know it just, like, James Gunn wasn't really involved in it, so it's hard for me to...
Yeah, actually, let me
No.
rephrase then. The way it was worded, I thought. But yeah, essentially what you said, Matt.
I'm honestly, I lost a little bit of hype just because of how bad The Flash did.
Yeah.
It's a little discouraging because I know now they're going to. Well, I mean, not that I wanted Ezra Miller back, but his character, I liked his character like a lot. So like knowing that he's definitely not gonna be a part of it now, and then because then I'm looking at the next couple movies, like I'm not that excited for Blue Beetle or Aquaman. So now I'm just kind of like just knowing I have to wait for real. So, but yeah, I guess I'm more towards the middle, a little less excited.
All right, and his other one was, what is the best theater experience you've had? Mine's got to be the first time I saw like Avengers Endgame in theaters.
Probably, yeah.
Saw it like opening night, and just you could tell like the people in the crowd were just so excited. Like when certain moments happen, like when Captain America picks up like Thor's hammer and shit, and like when Iron Man gets the stones and snaps, like the way that people reacted in the theater was just kind of like like it was like a surreal moment to just like witness basically a part of like film history. Like, but yeah.
I agree.
Great answer. Mine, I actually spoke about it a little bit earlier today. Megan.
Really?
Megan's at least up there for me. It was just the crowd really made it like the crowd really did amplify the emotions and the
Yeah.
experience.
Also, Spider-Man was another one, like No Way Home. But that was kind of different because like everyone already knew that they were going to be in it, like the other two Spider-Man. So it wasn't as like this big of a reveal or anything. I'm trying to think if anything else comes to mind.
Were people tweaking at like the ending though of like when you saw it, the No Way Home, where
not really. It was more like when they first showed up, like the other two Spider-Man,
where
everyone was like,
you're just like, let's go.
Have you seen some of the reactions online? There's like a video on TikTok of like when Andrew Garfield comes out, like some guy gets up and just does a backflip.
Oh yeah,
bro, I'm looking that up right now.
So
watching that for the
goofy.
podcast.
But yeah, I feel like those big like crowd pleasing moments, it's cool to see it with like people who you know like genuinely care about it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good question, Rob. Thanks for those. All right, T, let's see. You asked a couple that we could talk about. One of them you said is, what's a movie where your opinion changed on it upon multiple viewings? That's a very good question. And do you have one that comes to mind for you? Because I'm just a little bit.
I did think about this one a little bit. Mine one was Crazy Stupid. No. Fuck, what's the name of it? Yeah, it was Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah.
I loved it the first time so much. The second time I was like, all right, like I feel like just the awkwardness was less funny this time around. I realized just how awkward it was to the point where it was almost not funny.
Yeah.
And the context of me seeing it the first and second time were completely different.
Mm-hmm. Why? Just of like personal shit, like the way that you viewed it.
Yeah.
Shit going on with yourself.
Yeah.
For me, one is Arrival, probably. Which
it's a good one.
The first time I saw it, I was like, damn, like this shit's really good. But then like when I rewatched it and like knew the context of like what was happening and like why they were showing certain scenes during certain points, like it just hit so much better for me. That's like my favorite movie of all time. Like I like actually think that's the best movie ever made.
Respect, bro.
But yeah, it took like a few viewings for me to fully like appreciate it. I'm trying to think if there's one that I thought was really good and then like didn't like. But that I feel like is harder to The Flash, I guess.
Vice versa. I'm trying to think also. Like
for me, it was the Christopher Reeve Superman. I remember like regarding it so much highly as a kid, and I rewatched it recently, and it was okay. I feel like people always talk about that movie, but it was really overhyped in my opinion.
Yeah, if we're talking about movies that aren't as good as you thought they were when you were a kid. One that actually hurt to watch because I didn't realize how bad it was, bro. Madagascar, the original.
Really?
I rewatched it at school with my friends, bro. It's actually complete ass.
What about
It actually sucks, bro.
Really?
Yeah. Like the animation is terrible. The jokes are just not funny, and like it just did not hit at all.
Did the dad death hit still though?
For what?
You said Madagascar.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I thought you were talking about Back at the Barnyard for a second, bro.
The Barnyard movie, that shit is actually different.
Yeah, that movie's gas, dude.
I rewatched that movie. Yeah, I rewatched that as an adult, and it still was like really good.
Bro, okay, that makes a lot.
Yeah, dude, I was about to roast your ass, you slender in that movie.
Nah, I would never. The Ben death scene, bro, is actually diff.
Dude, oh my god, bro. But yeah, I heard you wrong. Or I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, I was talking about another movie about talking animals.
No, I know Madagascar.
Yeah.
Madagascar. Dude, I didn't even like Madagascar as a kid. I don't know. I never got into those characters that much.
I feel like it's such an iconic, like, animated film. Like, people talk about it a lot. It still has some relevance in, like, pop culture a little bit, you know?
I agree. I felt like it was so gimmicky. That's what I didn't like about it. Like, the penguins and shit.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Well, don't rewatch it, bro, because you're going to like it even less.
What if I rewatch it and it's like my favorite movie of all time now? I just didn't understand.
It would have to beat Morbius, so.
That's what I'm saying. That's a tough challenge.
All right, your other question was, what are you going to wear to Barbenheimer?
I think that's a good question.
That's a good one. I actually got I got a shirt made that is
You
coming
you
in.
got that shirt?
Yeah.
I'm jealous as fuck, dude.
It's I'll post it on the Instagram when the day comes that I wear it, but I'm not gonna reveal what it is. But it's a very special
I've
shirt
seen,
that will
yeah.
go with it.
Joe, I think I'm going to the Barbie screening with you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
word? I don't know if I have to see if I'm working. I gotta get my schedule yet.
Where
Yeah, we were able to get tickets to like a screening that's like 2 days early or something, so it's pretty cool.
the
That'd be pretty
privileges
good,
of
yeah.
having the podcast, you know?
Yeah, just because of like having the podcast, like Warner Brothers
You
reached
got
out
early
to us.
access.
Margot Robbie like hit me up and was like, "I got some
Personally, right?
tickets." Yeah, yeah, I met her for lunch and shit. Oh,
Something light.
yeah, but why? What are you gonna wear to the Barbenheimer?
Well, I'm gonna wear a Barbie dress.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna switch it to like a grown man suit for Oppenheimer.
Wait,
No, I'm kidding. I'm just gonna wear a suit.
yeah. I mean, what else can you really wear besides?
That's what I'm
this?
saying. It's
Yeah.
the biggest movie occasion maybe ever.
Yeah, Joe, what do you got? Anything crazy or no?
No. I want to get a. I'm probably gonna buy a shirt, like something stupid.
I'm conflicted though. Should I wear it to the early screening or should I like save it to wear on Barbenheimer Day?
No, I'd wear
Both,
it like for
bro.
the screening.
Dude, that's gonna be a crazy week because like the 19th is July 19th is the early screening. July 20th, I have my like
The test,
my
yeah.
engineering like certification test. So the next morning at 8 a.m. And then the next day after that is supposed to like be the Belmar thing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna like
The
go
Belmar
away
thing.
that weekend. I'm supposed to like go away for that weekend like the day after too.
Oh,
So
Joe, you should come. We're probably gonna go to Jenks or DJ's if you're about.
if I'm off, I'm always
Let's
game.
do it.
we'll plan it. The post Barbenheimer trip.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, bro.
But
Yeah, no, I'm excited. We should probably book that like today or tomorrow.
yeah, we'll do it. But anyways,
Plans on air.
yeah, we can't let the ops know our moves.
That's what I'm saying.
So-
We might book it, we might not. You guys don't get to know just yet.
Your last question for us to talk about is Across the Spider-Verse a top 100 movie of all time? Now, at first, you might be thinking like, yeah, of course, it was top 7 on Letterboxd, but
Well,
Really?
it depends how the second one is.
I think it's up. I think it's definitely in my top 100. I'll say that, but
Probably. I mean, in our top 100, definitely, yeah.
is it a top 100 all time?
It's in my top 100 for sure.
To
But
be determined.
to be determined, I guess out on its own. Say yeah, maybe, yeah. Or I didn't think so, but I mean, you can't argue
It's
with
either
how many
very
people love
close.
it.
Yeah, it's not like it's way like it's either like pretty close or it is.
Yeah, I agree. It's like we're probably around the 85 to like 120 range, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy, all
Yeah.
things considered. But yeah, that was it for our Q&A section. I don't think there was much else. Just gonna double check.
Think of
No, yeah, that's it. That's it for the Q&A. So before we go, Joe, you got to recommend a movie for the next podcast.
Yeah, so I picked my movie. I don't know if you've seen this movie before, actually. So, it's directed by Garth Edwards. It came out in 2016 with pretty
Okay.
mixed reviews, and it's Rogue One. So
Repeat that, sorry.
I saw this maybe like
Wait, I didn't hear you, bro. Sorry.
What?
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh,
Sorry.
Rogue One.
Oh, Rogue One. Oh, the Star
Yeah.
Wars. Okay.
Honestly, after watching Secret Invasion, I forgot how much I like Ben Mendelsohn, and I remember him being very good in this. And I remember like this, like even before I was like more into like movies, I remember like the visuals and like the cinematography being like the best in any Star Wars movie I've seen. So I'm pretty curious how I view it now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have seen it, but I don't really remember it, so that'll be
There's a
interesting to talk about.
3.7 on Letterboxd, which honestly that's pretty high for a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, that's probably one of the highest rated on there, I would say. So, all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, wait, what else is coming out? Indiana Jones for next episode.
Indiana
right?
Jones.
I think that's
And
the only thing in
then-
theaters. Is there something that comes out first week of July or no?
Mission Impossible?
Really?
It's
No, I
July
think it's July
6th.
12th or something.
Word. So then that's not before next episode.
I mean, Insidious comes out July 7th.
All right, maybe we'll see it, but
Yeah, you're
anyways,
right.
Yeah, I don't care.
Joe's right. It's July 10th, so I think the next
Oh,
episode is
damn.
before that.
I forgot Haunted Mansion comes out next, like in July too.
Yeah, it's been a pretty packed summer. So
Yeah.
It makes me think, bro. Like, why don't they like release these movies in like March, like when there's fucking nothing this year?
I don't know. Like, why are they making a Haunted Mansion movie in like August?
Yeah, wait
Yeah,
for
I thought they should have
November
done that in
or
like
October.
September, October, yeah, or even end of August would have been good too.
Yeah, because it goes straight into like the fall season after that. But
Yeah,
I
think
agree.
It's missed opportunity.
all right. Well, anyways, Tom, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thanks.
It's
been a banger.
Yeah, I hope you had a great time on here. We had some great discussions.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, we'll come back whenever. Maybe when there's like another. Maybe for Barbenheimer, bro.
I'll get emotional on screen, dude.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks guys for listening, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Peace.
Peace.